Greetings and welcome to you. There we go. It's working now. Greetings and welcome to you, brave citizens of our new world. It's me, Toronto's greatest supervillain and evil genius, Dr. Terrawat. This is our Layer 4.0, and today I am, once again, hopefully, your kind and benevolent DM, as we continue to play through the Chronicles of Autometh with our A-Team.
Yay, us.
Woo! Woo! There we go. Yay!
Wow, we have an applause soundboard sound now. That's great.
Yep. Got canned applause.
Make me feel so
cheering.
cool.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have like a little folder on my Stream Deck thing now for the raffles. So I have like several kinds of like drum rolls and applause and cheering and stuff.
Nice. Very good.
I've also got this for whenever I need it. Because I feel like that's going to come up sometimes. Oh, and thank you, Claire, for all those sweet, delicious bits. Claire's diving in, taking gold medal place right now on Thursday. Nice. But yeah, we were just sitting here talking about really cute Kagumis, and I'm positive I'm saying that wrong. Is it Kigumi?
Kigurumi.
Kigurumi. There we go.
Yeah.
But it's like Kigumi for short, or am I just an idiot? Like
I think people just say Kigu for short.
Kigu.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. And additionally, as we're getting ourselves going in here, where did it go? Where did it go? There it is. Giveaways. We have ourselves a copy of Dark Souls 3 with all of the DLC. Currently available for today's raffle. Dark Souls 3 being one of my favorite games of all time. I can't recommend that game enough. Myself and... Oh god, I did spell Souls wrong. I was in such a rush. Dark Souls. There we go. Thank you for pointing that out, Calendros. This was donated to us by Esteban, and myself and Boy Wonder are going to be playing through this again at some point down in the near future. Not like immediately, but like it's on our schedule of games to play. And also, folks can see that our June Layer Fund was filled recently. We met our donation goal yesterday, and we can't see it on the screen because this is our D&D setup. But we have some stretch goals like getting the pass for Pokemon Sword so that we can play that on the stream, as well as doing a live ray gun build for you guys. And then also playing Soma, which I don't want to do, but some people like seeing me play the spooky games, and yeah, I'll get into it, whatever. So yes, here we are. And Sasself, how are you doing?
They said I was good to go, didn't I?
Good to go. Okay, sweet. I missed it, and I apologize. I didn't want to. I was padding out. I was giving you a bit of extra time to finish your sweet, delicious curry. But
I could tell.
Going down our list of players, though, our wonderful people that we have here, we have the sassiest of elves playing Ophelia, our mind flayer wizard necromancer.
Hello, my dear darlings. I am not monitoring the chat today because unfortunately my phone is just about to die, so I can only pick Discord or the chat. So behave.
Everybody be nice.
I want to get like the clip from RoboCop 2 where RoboCop and the new robot are fighting each other in the middle of a boardroom, and the big business guy just goes, "Behave yourselves!" Like that would do anything.
It's like, hey, stop it.
And it's like that is the most like white privilege thing I think I've ever seen on television when I was a child. This is a rich old white guy telling two robots to stop fighting.
I'm just going to say, guys, if it is required that I am summoned into the chat, you will regret it.
Ooh.
Hell to pay.
We got a lot of people who are saying that they will behave, with the exception of Esteban, who is now screamed to light everything on fire. But
to be fair, it is Esteban.
This is true.
So, yeah.
Estebane's a good guy. I imagine if he's lighting everything on fire, it'll be to code. So we don't have to worry about it. So up next, we have Cassie D20 Love Chu playing Saisis Blueleaf, our Banshee Bard.
Hello, hello. It is I. I've been very talkative already today.
Yeah, and I love it. We love hearing you talk, Cassie. You're great.
That makes me happy. Thank you.
Every time I'm watching Game Grumps, I can only think about how much I want to gush about these stupid jokes to you guys. Like, more
very
like
good.
to everyone in general, but more specifically to you and Sasself, because I know you guys also watch Game Grumps a lot, or at least do. Yeah.
I do indeed.
Then why is this the only time I hear from you then?
Because I'm busy and also very sad, but like we don't want to tell everybody at home how the sausage is made. So it's a hard time. I don't talk to people a lot.
We're doing our best.
Yeah. And up next though, we got our good man Badger playing Knocker, our goblin warlock.
Hey guys. Yep, everything is terrible, but we're just pretending like it's...
Yeah, we're just gonna do our best to play a board game and have fun, and try not to let the existential dread set in. And
Don't let it set in.
Yeah,
Don't do it. Don't let it set in.
I love that comic that's like, do the dishes. You know, the dust your curtains. Don't let the existential dread set in. Don't let it set in. Vacuum the carpet. It's like things to do on your day off. And up next
you
we
can
have
vacuum up that existential dread.
yeah. We have right there our Storm Phoenix playing Katsiana, our she on the team. She wizard artificer?
That is correct. It is
Yes.
a pleasure to be here as always. Good evening, everyone.
Woo! And last but most certainly not least, we've got Star, who's playing Daisy Sunwing, our fairy dragon familiar.
Hello.
Yay!
Yay.
All right. Now, when last we left our intrepid heroes, they were just finished speaking with the king, and he had granted you guys a spell to be held upon Ophelia's dagger, the ritual dagger that she'd recovered from her ancestral home. And that
Yes.
was a dimensional teleportation that would take you from Umlaut's domain back to the surface world.
Well, to be perfectly honest, you could take us from any plane to any plane, but yes, that's the intention.
Like at the last minute, you're gonna bum rush me and be like, "I use this spell to go somewhere else." And I'm gonna be like,
We're going to the plane
like-
of air!
It was like, no. Hey guys, guess what? We're going on vacation to the Shadowfell. Yay!
It's one of those like, "Let's go to the plane of air." It's like, okay, everyone, give me your character sheets. You all die instantly.
Hey, at least we can breathe.
Yeah, you can breathe while falling
can-
through infinite lightning.
We can breathe a lot. It's like, fuck it, going to space.
Yep.
Going to space now.
Go to space, cool, and we'll just take all those character sheets, and I'll just, and yeah, good game. So yeah, so we got that from the king, and there was some requests to perhaps stay in town for just a little bit longer to grab some more information from one of the books in the library, or to perhaps request from one of the higher-ups if they would be granted permissions to withdraw or sign out said book.
Is that allowed?
Not to you.
No.
Yeah, like, would you like to check the book out? Could we do that? No. It's just like, well, yeah, no. As I had mentioned, Benjamin Hyde does on occasion sign books out. Some of them were considerably more basic texts and brought them over to your home for reading, and then he would return them at a later time. If you would like, there would perhaps be individuals that you could talk to go about doing that business. But other than that, yeah. What do you guys do?
Well, we gotta go to put the thing in the thing, right? We gotta go do that thing. So we should go do that thing so that the thing doesn't get out and do the thing. Yeah, do the.
Knocker, do you even know what it is we're going to do?
I'm vaguely aware of the fact that there's a thing that needs to be doed, and we don't want the other thing to happen if we don't do that thing. So I mean, we should probably do.
And what are any of these things? Elaborate a bit for me.
I really don't think that that's important. I think the important thing is the fact that there's a thing.
It shouldn't happen.
There is a thing.
There is a thing that shouldn't happen, and another
Ah.
thing that should. And all you need to know is I'm along for the ride.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm for I'm in it because I like when things happen, and I like to look at the things while they happen.
Things and happenings.
Yeah, there's a doing the transpiring, and I want to see it as it happens. How else am I supposed to tell the story about the thing later?
Oh, the thing. You know the thing.
Yeah.
That thing. You know. The thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So are we doing the thing?
Yeah, so what are you guys heading out, or do you guys remain in the city to pick up any more supplies? You are at presently just outside the throne room.
So, not to harp on the thing, but where do we have to go for the thing? And weren't we heading to a...
Well, you understood the fact that there is a boat somewhere in the middle, so that's one good step. You're just missing probably about 25 others.
Hey, lady, I'm not in charge here. I don't know what's going on.
So where's the boat?
That's how you were calling the shots. I'm just the support.
I
I told
we will
you
have
all.
to find-
I told you all 5 minutes ago that we would need to travel probably about 5 days worth of travel before we even need to start looking for a boat. There is no boats here. There is no water here.
Okay, well, then let's go to the place. Let's go to the boat. We got 5 days. That's lots of time for you to explain it to me several times, because I'm definitely not going to get it.
And Ophelia just looks at our dear sweet bitch, just goes, help me.
Help?
Yeah, looks at Katsiana, looks at Xyces, and just she can't oh yeah, she won't mouth help because she can't. She'll just point at both of them, and all they hear in their head is just help.
Like one of those gestures, like help.
And Knocker just blinks asynchronously and stares at the mind flayer with a big toothy grin.
So where's the boat?
There is no boat yet. There is not yet a boat.
But where do we have to go to get the boat?
Benjamin Hyde comes out of the throne room shortly after.
Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Oh,
And goes,
you're good.
right,
Oh, good.
so, is there anything that you need before you head out on your mission?
Benjamin, I may require your assistance with something. And she just kind of like blushes a little bit.
Of course. What is it that you would need assistance with? Noticing you're blushing, he leans in very closely and whispers, "Is it boy trouble?"
And she just looks at him
Yeah.
very confused, goes, is there something wrong with my brothers? Did they do something stupid again?
He shrugs at you. He's not sure. So, what can I help you with?
You know how earlier Katsiana and I went to the archives.
Yes.
One of the caretakers there indicated that there was a book that would probably be of great help to us.
Oh, I'm sure many
On-
of the books within the collection of the archives would be of tremendous assistance.
but
Knowledge
this one's
is
specific-
power, after all. He giggles to himself.
But this one specifically having to deal with interplanar travel and the kind of what's the abyssal plane, stuff that would be very good on this particular mission.
She's just like, certainly. Well, if you would like, I could accompany you to the archives. You could show me the book that you're talking about, and we could perhaps discuss with the patrons who are there about maybe getting you clearance to sign it out for some time.
Oh, good. Okay. That's good. Yes. And she just kind of stands there and just looks at Katsiana. And again, just help.
I just smile a very charming, perfect politician smile, and my face shows no indication that I know anything about what is going on right now.
Okay, good. Benjamin then nods and goes, right this way, and he trots off down the hallway towards the archives.
I don't want to go to the library. Is there anything to eat there?
No, let's just go to the library. We can read books. Wouldn't that be fun?
Can I eat the books?
There would also
No,
be
you
maps
cannot.
if you need information on where you're headed.
Daisy, haven't you ever heard of bookworms? We can eat the bookworms.
Oh, okay.
We'll just look until we find bookworms, and then we'll eat them. It's like doing a service for the library.
Okay.
So, shortly later, you guys find yourselves at the entrance to the Grand Archives within the Palace of Falling Leaves. You, as you enter in, are greeted by the same ghost patron who was standing at the front desk previously. What appears to have once been a human man wearing like a fantasy version of a three-piece suit, in effect, and a darling pair of pince-nez, tiny spectacles upon his nose. And he greets you as you all come in. Ah, it is good to see you again.
It's very good to see you as well.
And he, there we go. He notices Benjamin as you all come in, and he's,
Ah, Ben. Good to see you, old friend. How may I assist you and your friends today?
and Benjamin goes, well, there is apparently a very important book that Ophelia here would like to sign out. It was originally not within her clearance, and of course I have come here as the extension of the king's will to ask if that may be made possible. The ghost, looking over the rim of his pince-nez, turns to Ophelia and says,
Do you remember the name of the book?
I couldn't quite decipher the name, but had to do with abyssal planes.
As you're speaking, he very slowly leans to his right and reaches under the desk and pulls the book in question out and places it on the desk.
And just Ophelia just like sinks into her hood. Just like
And he like pats the top of it and goes,
Is this the book you were after?
Yep, that looks like the one.
Excellent. I will make sure that you have clearance and that you can bring this book back promptly. Thank you.
he opens the front of the book, and instead of having like a library card system, on the inside of the hardback cover of the book, there is an arcane sigil has been scribed there, and he places a ghostly hand on it, and it lights up very briefly, and then he removes his hand. Closing the book, he then offers it to you, Ophelia.
You have, I'm going to say, a month to please return this book. Thank you.
No, thank you. And she'll like grab it with both hands and like clutch it to her chest and like keep staring at the floor.
We're going pretty far. Do you think we're going to be back in a month? I mean, this is a long way that we have to go, and then there's a boat involved in the other place that's like maybe not even in the same, world. So, I mean, I feel like there might be fire involved too. Maybe we should like get a special bag for it.
Jesus.
It's Ophelia just like glares at him wordlessly.
I'm just wondering if there's going to be enough time.
Do you want to make the book negotiations then?
What? Negotiations? Okay,
Ben-
I'm going to go look for bookworms. Bye!
Benjamin turns to the group. As you run off, we'll get to you in a second. You run into the archives, and there are just like books and books and books, all lit by these pale blue lanterns. That light sort of permeating the space. And as you're running along, you do catch every now and then that there is a ghost kind of floating from shelf to shelf, shelving some of the books that may not be mortally accessible by people who are unable to fly, as well as, just drifting around the space in general. Now, Benjamin, though, turns to the rest of the group who's still present and goes, yes, I believe you may also benefit from the use of a map. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yes.
that seems like a very good idea.
Fucking, just like that Seymour, yes. So he brings you, let's see, does this work? Yeah, why not? He brings you over to, like, into the archives themselves, like, through the passageways, kind of left and then right again and then left, and it comes to a small opening area where you see, at least you, Ophelia, and Katsiana, you recognize these large tables as the tables that they normally have around the archival area. There's quills and ink and whatnot, and sort of loose blank parchment here and there. But this particular section, one of the walls is adorned with many large scrolls that have been rolled up. He reaches up to the top of one of them and pulls down a huge map.
So while we're looking at this, I'm just gonna take Seth and just plop him down on a table.
Okay, yeah, you put him down on the table, and he very happily kind of slaps the top of the table. It's a polished and varnished wood, and he very much enjoys the texture of it on his tentacles.
I assume he would be going to find the nearest quill.
Correct, actually, yes, because there are quills on one side. He just like kind of flops across the top of the table over to where the quills are, and he takes one out and he curls it up in his tentacle and he holds it against himself, and he is happy as a clam. Unrolling the large map, you guys see that there are a lot of locations, obviously, and Benjamin points out to an island that is in the top corner, in the far north and east. And he says, this particular area is known only as the Black Isle by some people. Information on it is unfortunately quite sparse. If you were to get there, you could travel east across the monstrous wastes and try to find a ship from one of the Orcish tribes here, or if you are looking for a bit of a smoother travel, or something a bit more reliable, you could try to find your way into Ikris, and abscond with one of their larger ships.
Hmm.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I wouldn't say anything of importance of just pondering.
Ophelia just kind of looks a little uncomfortable at the idea of going into a town.
Hmm.
Not very good with people of any sort.
Indeed. Many of the missions that you will be taking on the surface may on occasion require you to interact with members of the Empire, violent or otherwise. That is unfortunately something that we'll have to come around on. As it is, you may disguise yourselves using magic or disguise kits or other things and try to blend in. You would not go unnoticed if there were, and he sort of counts along 3 humans and a child. Where is that goblin? And he quickly looks around. Badger, give me a perception check for Knocker.
Okay.
Okay, cool. You know where you're going. You're not lost. So you've gone into the archives, and it is just pristine books, pretty much wall to wall.
Wow. I'm just gonna take a little sniff around, see if I can smell any worms. I don't know, and then maybe I'll ask a ghost.
With a 20 perception, you do not smell worms. The only thing you're really smelling is like the ink, the parchment, that musty old wood smell mixed in with that musty cave smell. And yeah, as you're wandering about, you do find a ghost, and she is sort of hovering just in front of a shelf on ground level. She's wearing sort of like a long, modest dress, has like, frills around the neck and the cuffs, and her hair is done up in a bun. Looks like an older woman, human in origin, and yeah, she doesn't appear to have feet. So where you see her floating there is who she be.
I'm just going to say in my normal, abrasive speaking voice, "Hey, where do you keep the where do you keep the books about fair?"
She very slowly turns to you, leans into you very closely, and puts a finger to her mouth and goes, "Shh." And then standing up straight, beckons for you to follow, and floats towards the deeper into the archives.
All right. Sounds good.
That's right.
I would have followed Knocker into the archives.
Okay, yeah, so you're with him. Going back to the group that is at the map, Syaces, Cassie, Syaces would recognize the name Willow is strangely familiar to you.
Sorry, where did we hear the name Willow?
Willow on the map right there. Looking over the map, yeah, like Cassie, as you said, Syaces was looking over the map to see if anything jumps out.
Yep.
The name Willow of a town is hauntingly familiar.
Something strangely familiar about a place named Willow.
Well, isn't that Gray's Tavern in town?
If you want to do a wisdom check, you can, and I can jog your memory about some stuff you may have forgotten.
Boop-a-doop-a-boop-boop-boop. Boop.
Oh.
It's a 3. Natural 1. A dirty 3. So we in this particular regard, like it is so haunting that you know that name from somewhere. And yeah, maybe it is just one of the trolls that runs Gray's Tavern. It's hard to tell, but it does seem so strangely familiar to you. There was that other banshee that you guys rescued.
Yes. Where are they at the moment?
The ghosts that you guys brought back from the ruined town here were moved into sort of an apartment building that was in the upper side of town. Along with some of the other, like, greater undead, like vampires and the such, in those areas up there. You guys have, like, all the ghosts that you guys got brought in and sort of brought up the main street in town were relocated there. Some of them moved to other places, but the larger bulk of them remain there.
Okay. Alright. Yes. The tavern, you must be right. That must be what I'm thinking of.
So kind of looking around to the girls with her, just so the town or the orcs?
If we go the town route, I may be able to speak with some of the inhabitants there, potentially.
I can disguise.
We may have some difficulty with our more energetic comrades.
I can disguise myself for a short period of time, and then you, looking over at Katsiana, might just be able to blend, I guess? But correct, our loud little one might have a bit of a harder time. It'd be great if we could ask him if he hadn't run off again.
Benjamin chimes in and goes, well, perhaps you may be able to, at the very least, head east, speak with the orcs, and see what options they can offer, and then take that knowledge with you down to Ikris and match that against the risk and possibility of the ship that is there. And if things don't work out in Ikris, you could always move back north to the orcs and take their boat.
That sounds like a fine enough idea.
Sort of east and then south, and then
Check
back
out our
north
first
if it doesn't
option.
work out. Gives you your options, gives you lots of information.
And if we're going to check out the, easier option first, that gives us more time to perhaps come up with a plan to thing, if that's our choice.
Indeed.
And a way back, I don't think would be very much of an issue.
Well, no. If you do successfully get a ship to the Black Isle, you can always take it back here, or there may be other, if you use any points to the dagger, if you end up using that, there is certainly a good possibility that where you end up back in this realm will be on the mainland, so you won't need to take your ship and return.
And ideally, it would bring us all the way back right here.
He kind of like nods and goes, maybe.
That's reassuring.
Well, as it stands, and he sort of like clears a space on the map and kind of grabs some of the cups that are over that hold like the ink and the quills and whatnot, and one of the sheets of paper, and he dips one of the quills in the ink and he starts sort of drawing on the paper, and he goes, now I'm not a wizard per se, however I do, as far as this has been explained to me, if you are in one realm here, and he makes a circle indicating the abyssal realm of Umlaut, and he goes, and you use that spell to jump to here, and he draws another circle and he goes, this would be the surface. Going though from the Umlaut's domain back to this domain, and he draws a third circle sort of a ways off. He goes, requires that it is a bit more complex, as this realm is not, shall we say, directly connected to the surface, and getting in here with the use of a transdimensional spell is a bit harder than getting out, per se.
But to be teleported directly to the doors of the surface is a lot better than to be teleported to the shore.
Indeed, it just would require a great deal more focus, and I know that this spell will bring you at least to the surface on the Black Isle in a rush, in a pinch. But with additional focus, I imagine you may be able to get yourself to the mainland, yes.
According to my study or the spell description, but sure.
Yes, it is also, yeah, but yes. People going on about cakes in the chat. Small round sponge cake, maybe 1.5 inches across, covering in dark chocolate and orange filling beneath said chocolate. That sounds really nice.
I think someone's baking.
Okay, cool. Good for you, Mercenary Pen. Like he said, not a wizard, quote unquote.
She's like, not a wizard. And I'm just like, well, according to my notes right here, it says otherwise.
Yeah, it says that might be hard to get all the way back here. The spell itself, while yes, the spell description is like lets you travel through other dimensions and whatnot, and lets you pick very specific things. As you are going to be channeling it through the dagger, this is magic that is far and beyond above your pay grade. So while you can cast and harness these spells using the dagger itself, if you attempt to go to larger and more specific areas, it can require a bit more focus. And that's all. It's like if somebody handed you a loaded firearm, it's like, yes, you could shoot somebody, but if you're not trained in that particular thing, aiming it is astonishingly difficult. Movies are so unrealistic with people shooting and hitting things. It's so bananas. Oh my god.
Anyways.
But yes. So he goes, right, so, you've got a relatively good plan, and you have most of your party here. Is there anything else that I might be able to help you with?
Just kind of look around to the rest of the girls.
I'll take that awkward silence as a no. And he, folds up the little paper that he was drawing on and tucks it into his jacket. Rolling up the large world map, he then returns it to the space that is on the walls of the archives. And then accompanies you guys back to the entrance of the archives themselves. Though while this has been going on, Knocker's on a little adventure with Daisy further on in where the books are. You guys are led through a series of corridors. All of the walls appear to be just shelves and shelves of books. And the spirit eventually leads you to a particular shelf. It doesn't seem special compared to the rest. And she pulls one of the books that's on the shelf out about 2 inches. And then looks to you, Knocker, and then vanishes from sight.
Gee, thanks. Oh, she's gone. Can you see her?
No.
Huh, okay. Well, let's hope this isn't a language I can read.
Would be cute.
Okay. It just opens the book. Ah, yes. Nonsense. Perfect. Opening the book, it appears to be written in Common. Are you able to read Common?
Well, sort of. I mean, I can read if the language gets a little too flowery.
Okay. Getting into it, the author has done what is essentially like an almost an outsider's opinion on the Fae specifically. And there are some chapters that detail things like don't eat any food in the Fae realm or else you will die if you leave the Fae realm. There's discussions about the courts of Fae and about how each of them lives in a dimension that is just ever that particular season. So there's like the autumn court and the winter court and the summer and spring court, and each of those realms is like eternally that weather. And sort of the different sort of dispositions of each of those particular characters as it goes down the list. There is some sections that dictate and discuss making pacts with Fae, how it is extraordinarily risky to do so, but it has been known to succeed on occasion.
Who would do something crazy like make a pact with a powerful Fae creature? That seems like a silly thing.
Is there anything in specific that you're looking for?
Mainly I'm looking to figure out how to contact my patron, like, and who they might be, just because I know that I have a connection to the Fae, but I don't know, like, what it is, or where it is, or how it is, or...
Do you have any specific preference on the Fae that you've made a bargain with?
I do not.
Okay. So, as you are reading through the book, it's like, and you get to that chapter that deals with, like, dealing with the Fae, and there's some discussion on how, you know, if you need to deal with them violently, iron works really well, but if you want to deal with them peaceably and you want to make bargains with them, then you need to be very specific about your wording. You need to make sure you never say thank you, because that makes you indebted to them, and it doesn't work the other way around, and it sucks. And just like a long list of things, but also that if you are, like, the easiest way to get in contact is get lost in the woods. That is the easiest way to find a Fae. And as memory serves you, that is originally how the Fae that you have made a bargain with got in contact with you. The Fae entity that you originally made your bargain with, and your bargain's your memory of that, I'm going to say, is a bit fuzzy. And you're not sure if it's because you were drinking some of your mushed junk out of the alcohol, or if it's just like it was a magical thing. But you remember that in your, not necessarily in your village, but you were in the woods, and you came across what appeared to be an elf, but it wasn't an elf. Like, you could definitely see it had the pointed ears, but it didn't have the physiology of an elf almost at all, and it was draped in these, like, big green and gold robes. And what followed was a short conversation where if you promised that you would uphold the protection of those woods, then they would grant you favor.
Well, I was going to do that anyway, so it just seemed like a good idea.
Yeah. And then, shaking hands with this particular entity, they then gifted you a companion to help you get up to all kinds of shenanigans and keep the woods safe, and that was Daisy.
And I said, thanks! And I wandered back into the forest.
Cool! Walks away.
No, very specifically, thanks.
And yeah, you haven't necessarily, like, seen this individual or this entity since, and the members of your tribe didn't really care necessarily. Like, nobody was scared. People thought it was pretty cool. One guy was jealous, and then that was it. The sickness then came that hung over the forest, and then you guys got into that temple and cleaned it out. And so a lot of that corruption that was in the woods has since lifted, and you remember feeling the forest breathe that sigh of relief when that energy had that oppression had been lifted. But yeah, all of the spells that you cast, you draw from this particular individual, and you feel ever present, you feel that connection to that particular Fey Lord. As it is, though, talking to them directly is somewhat of a mystery. And there's not a whole lot of discussion on exactly how to do that. But if you did want to speak directly to your patron, you may, I don't know, just try stuff. The book that you have talks about, like I said, like if you're looking for Fae, getting lost in the woods is a great way to do that. There are some circles of mushrooms, if you can find them in naturally growing areas, that can happen. There are some spells that allow you to contact these entities directly. However, they can be quite sophisticated.
Yeah. So, are there any I guess if are there any a mushrooms are a good call? Are there any other things that would help channel the communication with the Fae? You know, any sort of I guess I'm just interested in information that might help me, improvise rituals or do something that might, yeah.
Well, as far as the book goes, the circle of mushrooms and then standing in there and calling out to your Fae and using different things that represent the court that they're from is often something that helps. Because they're very much based on meaning. They are beings of almost pure magic.
Okay.
So if you were trying to contact an autumn fae, you could bring autumn leaves that you'd kept and maybe some herbs and spices and some other stuff that would represent that season.
Pumpkin spice, gotcha. Is there any way for me to know what flavor or season of fae that I'm connected?
From the descriptions that you find in the book, and from what you remember the individual that you spoke to, it appears as though he may have been a summer fae court.
Good choice. I do like the summer. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it'll be watermelon that I use to contact this fae.
Watermelon and Mountain Dew!
Yeah, watermelon and pool floaties.
You just
a jaunty glass of lemonade.
Yeah, that's right.
I was gonna say get a glass of lemonade and set up a barbecue in the middle of a mushroom circle.
Yeah, perfect.
Start frying some burgers.
All right, cool. That's great. I will tuck that book under my arm and return to the.
Yeah, and it's. You get the strangest sensation as you close the book and you place it back on the shelf and you push it back in and it.
I'm tucking it under my arm and going back to.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you tuck it under your arm and you make your way back to the entrance. As you are getting to the rest of the group that's there, the people that are assembled in the front area all see you approaching, and once again, the ghost who is standing at the front desk does look over to Knocker and then looks over to Benjamin and says,
"Would you also like to allow this one to take out and sign out his book?"
And Benjamin just turns to look at Knocker. Are you concealing the book at all, or do you just have it with you?
No, I'm just going to hold it up and I'm going to look at the ghost and I'm going to say, "How many golds?"
Oh my god. Ophelia just face palms and goes, You don't buy these. These are not for sale.
Everything is for sale. I heard from that nice troll man. That's how this works. There's a big store and I pick a thing and I say how many golds and then you tell me how many golds and I give you the golds and then I take the book. So I got let's see here. I got 100. Is that
Not Knocker.
And
This is not a store, dear.
the ghost,
1 second. One
turning
second.
to the
Ophelia
rest of
leans
the
over-
group, goes,
That's right. These books are not for sale. Though we can check them out if you would like to borrow the book for a time.
Whoa, the book's free?
For a time.
Ophelia leans over to Katiana and goes, At least I didn't try to buy it. Oh my god.
"Oh my god." The ghost.
I'll take this free book. Sounds good.
The ghost leans down and puts his hand out to take the book from you.
Okay. I'll hand it.
Yeah, and he does the same thing that he did with Ophelia's book. He like places it down on the table, opens it up, and inside on the cover, there is a magical circle sigil sort of designed in there, and he places his hand on it. It lights up briefly. He closes it and hands it back to you.
In 1 month's time, please return this book to the Royal Archives. Thank you.
Sounds good.
He nods politely and smiles to everybody who's present. Benjamin clasps his hands together, which only make a clapping sound because he's wearing leather gloves, and goes, "Right, yes. So, shall we be on our way then?"
Oh yeah, let's do it. To the boat.
All right.
Benjamin, are you coming with us?
And he turns to the group and goes, "Oh, no, goodness, no. My services are required here to assist the king at all times. However, I'm just assuring that you have everything you need to ensure the highest probability of success while you are on the surface."
I don't know. I feel like you should maybe get out and get some sun every once in a while. Brighten up that complexion of yours.
And he stands up straight and goes, "Well, I think my complexion is bright enough." And he sort of dusts his bones a little bit. Kind of paws at his mustache a little.
I just gonna chuckle at him with a little wink and a tentacle twitch.
Yeah.
Aw.
It would have been lovely to have your company with us, but we understand.
Oh, of course, no. The king has the utmost faith that you will be successful in your mission. And plus, if I'm not here, then who's going to manage all of the people that need to come in and see the king? When you're not here, which is no one. That's a solid point.
Yes.
He's like, "Well, either way, my assistance to the king notwithstanding, I do enjoy my life here within the city. And while adventure on the surface does sound exciting, it's certainly not my cup of tea, as it were."
Right.
But I am deeply honored that you would ask me to join you.
Just as the whole group's about to turn and leave, Ophelia will take half a step and go, just pause, put a finger in the air and go, "Oh, wait, no, I forgot something."
Oh?
And we'll kind of turn around and like hop down the stairs and go back down the hallway and go back to where that table is. And we'll look down at the table. Very sternly.
And there's Seth sitting on the table holding his quill. He is not at all disturbed by the fact that you left him on that table. He's having the time of his life, sort of brushing the feather on the side of his face. It's so soft. It feels so nice.
Ooh, soft.
Ooh, so soft.
Hey,
Very soft.
it's time to go. Come on, and Ophelia will just put her hand out.
And he, taking the quill with him, flops into your hand and then like travels his usual way, gripping and whatnot up into the hood in the back of your head.
Okay, and then we'll just kind of make our way back to the door.
All right. Heading out, you guys make your way to the front of the palace and down through the market proper. Is there anywhere that you guys want to go in specific, or are you okay with me bringing you guys rounding off?
No, I'm good. I got my book. I'm happy. Let's go.
Cool. As you guys continue to travel, like you're going back down through the market area, past all the usual buildings, and heading outside into the forest and the paths that lead you towards the massive arena that stands in the center of the kingdom. Moving into the place, Benjamin once, of course, brings you into the arena, brings you into one of the chambers that are just sort of down some stairs beneath the area where the king would stand on his balcony, to the portal that is also a wall at the bottom of that space. And he turns to the rest of the group and says, "All right, so, I imagine that at least for now, this is goodbye."
Okay, bye.
He tips his top hat to you guys, and watches as each of you head through the false wall that's there. Coming up to the surface, you guys notice that the area to which you head out to, that is within the sort of like fake tomb that's that then connects to the surface proper. It sort of just dumps you in one of the random hallways, but as it is, there isn't really a lot to it. It's mostly barren, and there's just a handful of hallways that are there. So it very swiftly takes you to the monstrous wastes on the surface. All right.
Yay.
Yay!
This place. Yay.
You did it! And yeah, so as you guys make your way outside the massive gates that are nestled within the mountainside far to the northern end of the monstrous wastes, you are met with the familiar, dry, and desolate land that is the wastes, the skies ever covered with a gray fog.
Okay.
Feels so comforting to be back home.
Seth, as you guys head to the surface, the tiny octopus sort of like squibbles and snuggles a little bit to kind of get onto the back of your neck to avoid the dry air.
Oh, okay. So which way to, the boat? It doesn't look very watery here.
We did explain that, yes. It is going to be a while until we find water.
Knocker, do you wanna take some notes so we don't have to explain this every hour
Good lord.
Okay.
for the next
so I'm gonna dig around
5 days?
I'm gonna dig around in my bag and pull out the fairy book, and then pull out a pen. So like, oh, I'll just make notes in here.
No.
Well, I want to keep all my notes together.
These are not notes you get to keep.
All right. Let's see what else I got.
All right. Yeah. Did you grab any of the what's what I'm looking for? Any of the parchment?
No. Maybe I can make notes on these assorted bugs that I have. I hope they don't
Sure.
wander away. That would be very difficult. Does anyone have any like leaves or something? I can usually make notes on leaves.
Would I
Alright,
have like a
that's fine.
spare piece of parchment or something that he could use?
Going through all of the stuff that you have on hand, yeah, you could have like you would easily maybe have a spare parchment that you could show.
Sure. So I go through my belongings and I give a piece of parchment over to Knocker.
Awesome. Sort of hold it in my hands, kind of look back, blinking.
Are we doing a walking and taking notes thing? Is
Yeah,
that...
let's walk and take notes. I'm just gonna stare at this blank piece of paper and just say like, I don't really okay, well, maybe I got a dagger. I guess I'll just use some blood. That's kind of like ink.
Good lord.
We have like a. Well, I guess there wouldn't be like pens around this time. It would just be like a quill and ink situation.
Yeah.
It's all right. I got lots of ink inside me.
Great.
And kind of like
Oh,
figuring
how
out what's
awful.
going on. Kind of figuring out what's going on. Seth just like holds on to his quill even tighter.
Yeah, just like no, it's mine.
You can.
Okay. So let's see
Oh.
here. Let's start to write notes. We're going to the water, which is to the, I want to say west.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, well, I messed up this one. I'm gonna crumple up the parchment and say, "Can I have another?"
Ophelia just walks away. She just walks away.
No, all right.
Oh,
no.
good. Yeah, you lead. That's a better idea. Let you just lead. And I'll follow.
Oh my god. Oh goodness. By and large, as you guys travel along, the day passes relatively without incident. Is anybody doing a perception to keep an eye?
Oh, I'm keeping an eye out for. Is it ogres? Is it trolls? I think it's ogres.
Orcs.
I think.
There are orcs and also ogres you've seen out here.
I thought it was like little goblin-y, little gray goblin-y things.
There were also goblins, yes.
We found all kinds of friends out here.
Yeah, there are still monsters who live in the monstrous wastes. However, they appear, as you found, they're a lot more emaciated and their skin is gray.
Kind of more keeping an eye out for the ogre that I've harassed a few times.
Oh, yeah. You didn't see him in Autometh. I don't know if you guys...
No, we left him on...
Yeah, you gave him directions. He ran into the B team. They helped him get back into town.
Merc has filled me in.
Oh, fantastic. But yeah, if you can keep an eye out for him, heck, you might find another. But yeah, give me a perception. Nope.
Wow.
It's super dry out. Some dust gets in your eye. You spend a little while.
And she's still really like, oh god, okay, I can't.
I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to walk, and I don't and that's what's up. Saices with a dirty 23, which is very nice. You have your eyes real sharp, and as you guys are going along, strangely, especially you Saices, you don't see anybody. As you guys are traveling in the easterly direction, you don't see any goblins, you don't see any orcs. Though you do spot some tracks, I'm gonna say, because they would be easy to spot, and they would be in around this direction. Shortly after you leave the doors proper, Saices, you see just the biggest goddamn footprints you've ever seen. Moving towards the gate.
Would I be able to discern whether or not those footprints belong to potentially a friend of ours who maybe got lost on the way over?
Yep. As you're going, you notice that they're coming from just a slightly different direction than where you found him from. So it seems as though he may have gotten lost and then eventually found his way here. But yeah, you do see these huge footprints that did at one point belong to Ogron, the massive sort of stone ogre that was living in the wastelands here.
So Saices kind of smiles a little bit and kind of looks to Ophelia and says, "Oh, it looks like our friend has finally found his way into the kingdom."
Aw, does that mean I don't get to have fun on the way out this time? Oh.
Yeah, because you guys gave him directions on a piece of paper, which he promptly ate, and then started walking in a direction. So yeah. But yeah, it's quiet as you guys travel your full day heading in the eastern direction. The sun begins to set behind you guys. Do you guys go to make camp?
Is there anywhere wait, hold on a second. Let me just make... Okay, yeah, I know. I thought I was skilled in survival. I am not. So
I can let you guys carry your perceptions on this particular regard, but yeah, with the 23 from Saices and Knocker, even with your 18, you guys actually spot one of those large rock outcroppings like those is leaning in such a way, and there's been sort of like a little dugout sort of burrowed in at the base of it that you guys could camp in, and you would be relatively unseen. In addition to that, as you guys are sort of settling down in that area, if you choose to do so, there are, as you've been traveling rather, both you, Knocker, and you, Siaces, have noticed that there are bits of dead wood occasionally. So very occasionally, but you do find them every now and then.
Ooh, a hole to sleep in.
It looks very familiar to that cave we stayed in that first night.
I don't remember that.
Oh, you weren't around for that, dear.
Oh, that explains.
Yeah. Do you guys make camp in the dugout?
I think this is probably as good a place as any to set up camp.
Well, I believe 2 of you need to sleep.
Yeah.
I could sleep. This wasteland is pretty boring. Makes for sleepy time. I'll pull out my big fairy book and use it.
It's a hardcover book, so it's
softer than a rock.
It's softer than a rock, but not softer than. Do you have like a bedroll?
Daisy doesn't like when I use her as a pillow.
I can just imagine a goblin grabbing like the fairy dragon and just like jamming it under his head and just like putting it down, and it makes like a honking noise.
I'm just gonna like visibly cringe and twitch anytime he like manhandles this book. I'm just like, you know what? No. At this point, he's gonna fuck it up, and he's gonna pay the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my problem. This book is not my problem. But it's still like,
it's still. Oh God, NB, no! It just says open the book and then use it as a paper pillow.
Oh, good idea.
NB, why, NB?
Yeah, and Mercenary was like, you found a dugout burrowed in the rocky outcropping. Too bad it's home to a monster. That is correct, thank you. And yeah, so as you guys gather into the dugout, do you guys build a fire, and who is going to be on watch?
I can definitely be on watch.
And so can I, since I slept the night before. According to things you and I have discussed, I only need to sleep every other day.
That's right.
I don't need to sleep. I just need to enter in an active state for 4 hours, and in that time, I am fully aware of anything that is around me and can see enemies as they approach.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got to
One for
read
the
my...
permanent night watchman.
Yeah. I guess I'll sleep. Do you want me to dismiss you, Daisy?
Do I sleep?
I don't know. Probably.
Fairy dragons would require rest every now and then, yeah. Even if something
Pretty warm in the pocket dimension.
You can put me in the pocket dimension.
Okay, go to sleep. I snap my fingers and she's gone.
And yeah, as you guys sort of nestle in for the evening, things are decently quiet. Let's see.
Ophelia's just going to take some of that time to read her big abyssal book.
Indeed. Is there any specific information that you're trying to glean?
Information about the plane that we're going to.
Right, so, the information that you find that discusses and talks about the abyssal plane, once again, that particular chapter goes over how a lot of the architecture that you see in these realms is impossible by at least our conventional standards on the prime material plane. That the sort of like the Penrose stairs kinds of things, like very much like the sort of stuff that they used in Inception, that stuff happens. And there's a few like sort of crude sketches of like Mobius strip and some other stuff that it's just like this is kind of how their world works, that there are some areas that are clear A to B straight line, and there are other areas where you're climbing some stairs and then you're in a basement instead of in the attic. That it's not all of it makes sense or obeys, normal conventional rules. There is also the discussion of the fact that, like, light is hard to find in the abyss, obviously, and the creatures that reside there are terrifying and don't make sense, and there is, like, almost a full-page paragraph where the author rants at length about how much he hates those creatures, and about how dare they have, like, 6 mouths and all those limbs and the eyes where eyes shouldn't be, and one of them was just a huge maw, and it was a mouth that had a whole bunch of eyes on the inside, and it sucked. So... Oh, yeah.
You okay then?
Just fuck that entire place clean off.
Yeah. A lot of the people that have made attempted excursions into the abyssal plane have either gone mad or gone lost entirely. So it is difficult to convey a lot of that information. The author writes that it's hard to get good eyewitness accounts for those areas without going there personally, and even then, if you went to the abyssal realm, a lot of the data that you brought back may not be current or even useful. So it's hard to tell. But he does explain that, like, these are some of those, like, weird loops that you might run into.
So, not quite getting much useful from the book. I'm just going to kind of sit back and, like, drop into a meditative state and try to analyze some of the memories that her father has imparted onto her before he passed. Because she caught glimpses of from where they had come from.
That's right. And you did receive a very specific path that he imprinted into your memory that led to small sort of like nothing altar that was tucked away in a little dead-end cave someplace.
Yeah, so like so she knows that, she's memorized this path at this point, but just trying to see if she can glean anything else.
Yes. I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna say yeah. A lot of it, hard to tell. Sorry, I'm just grabbing a little piece of information because I was like, I'm not going to need that particular media today, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, I need it. it's exactly, it's today. Today's the day. Today's when we're doing it.
Doc, it's me. You know I ask for questions.
No, you jump hurdles. It's you. And shame on me for not assuming that you'd have done the same today. I'm just gonna spell that wrong because I'm in just the tiniest rush. We're gonna go here. We're gonna go here. But yeah, so the first memories that you kind of pick up from the outside are the very small and relatively modest civilization that your people had on the Black Isle. And it was strange because it's a mountain that is made almost entirely of obsidian. And as you're there, it's like the winding sort of staircase path that goes up to where there's like a great cave mouth in the edge of the mountain. From there, you sort of look around, and there's like a few sort of haphazard makeshift huts. Definitely a long far cry from the luxury you're normally used to seeing from your people. That just sort of dot that area on the outside. Even the sand that is down meeting the shore's edge appears to be just some mixture of just ground down obsidian dust. Following that memory, we're going to go to here. Does that work? Yeah, it always needs to be one less. I'm always on that. Boop, there we go. Perfect. Following that memory, you head up that long winding staircase to the large sort of maw that's opened in the side of the mountain, and it's not far in. Like, it's definitely not hidden like the King's is, but not far in, there is a great portal that appears to be made of flowing black ink. Do you press your mind inside of that space?
Yes.
All right. So, pushing forward with your mind, you move into what appears to be just this vast, devastating space. There are huge towers and pillars crafted from obsidian. Carved runes find their way all across their sides. Massive tentacled monsters moving herds of slaves and constructing these huge pyramids across the in between each of these pyramids. As you can see, there are these flowing rivers of pulsing lava that appears to be sort of it could be lava, perhaps it's molten blood, it's hard to tell. There are volcanoes dotting the distance, and you see in the farthest side of the land, there is a mountain made of flesh and tentacles and mouths.
Huh. I think she's gonna stop there.
Roll me a wisdom save.
Yay!
Cool.
Kinda what I figured. One sec, I'm just checking something. No. Oh, there it is. Nope, not what I was looking for. Okay, cool. Wisdom save, let's go.
17. Okay, so you do, as you're looking around, you're like, okay, so here's those pillars that appear to be floating in some cases. There's all of these people constructing these massive sort of pyramid things, all of it made from gleaming black obsidian. You do spy, in some cases, some of that impossible architecture. Across some of the buildings, there are staircases that fold back on themselves, and some other tunnels and areas which move and twist or do these things. And the memory that you're following into this space, like, you definitely have an idea of where you need to go in order to reach your destination. But you also catch the feeling when you see Umlaut's form in the distance, you catch this sinking feeling of almost reverence in a mixture of dread.
Does it feel like it's part of the memory, or does it feel like it's something that's stirring?
It is a part of your father's memory. It is something that he is experiencing. It's just that dread in mixture with reverence when he remembers that particular entity.
Okay.
All right. And then you're back. All right. Where did I put that? There it is. Bam. But yeah. You find yourself back in the dugout with your book. Thank you, Palantir. You're fantastic. All right. Is there anything else anybody wants to do throughout the rest of the evening?
Nope, I'm going to sleep and hopefully absorb information from my book through my head being near.
Osmosis.
Yeah. Osmotic learning.
Yeah, the night thankfully passes without incident. And as the next morning dawns, you guys, I would assume, continue moving east.
Yep.
Yeah, the day goes by relatively well. Take rations off of your stuff if you need. And let's get another perception from anybody who's keeping an eye out for stuff.
I'm looking for fairies, I guess.
I'm doing not so great this time. Oh!
Wow. Sometimes when you look into the void looks back.
And she wasn't the one.
I
She wasn't
don't
the one
know what I'm
looking
looking
into the void.
for, but
Yeah.
it's not in this world.
Yeah. Yeah, Katsiana, you're traveling with the rest of the party, but definitely you are distracted by thoughts of home. Walking through such a desolate, dry place that is so devoid of energy and joy, really does make you miss being back in the fairy realm. And Daisy, though, I imagine you're just invisible, flying circles over the party. You got eyes for days.
Yep.
And yeah, also Sciences, like you got your eyes up and you're kind of focusing on what's right in front of you, but God, there was just something about the word willow. What the hell was that?
On that note, can I do another wisdom check to see if something finally pops into my memory about it?
Sure, try it.
Boop.
Oh, damn, 19. All right. So, let's see if this works. Yeah. Willow. That was the name of a village. A village that you were from. You remember yourself standing at that window, the window open, the drapes blowing lazily in a summer breeze. And standing at that window, feeling the sun on your face, just enjoying the absolute joy, looking down at the people that are there. It's a farming village. And you see people moving carts of grain, some people bringing cows in and out, pigs and whatnot, to a market area that's just a little further into town from where your house is. You are on the second, maybe the third floor of quite a large dwelling. You can see the inside of the room that you're standing in has quite a large bed, and there is a sort of like a big closet that's currently shut. There's a large wardrobe that's also shut right now. And you just have this one brief memory that's so clear. Just that joy. It's a peaceful day.
And as that memory comes back to Sciences, there are tears that form in her eyes and kind of roll down her cheeks.
Oh.
It's kind of a bittersweet feeling, remembering that happiness, but also knowing that it's so long past.
Mm.
And she kind of pats the tears away from her cheeks with her sleeve and takes a breath and presses on.
Nice. Ghost tears. Sorry.
Ghost tears.
There we go. You gotta do it right.
Ghost.
Ghost. It's a pretty good idea for a ghost. Right, so you guys continue heading east. Daisy, as you are up there, you find that in the distance, probably about another day's travel, you can see the shoreline.
Ooh, is there a boat?
You can't quite see a boat, but from really high up where you can get to, you do see where where the land meets water, and you see what looks to be a settlement of some kind, a very small village near the edge of the water.
Interesting. All right, I will inform the group.
Not land, ho!
Water, oh.
How far out did you say this was?
About another day's worth of travel.
Okay.
I can aim us in the direction of the village, I guess.
Yeah. All right.
Do you guys know who lives in that village? If there's a village nearby? Did we get a map?
Well, we got shown a map while you wandered off.
You didn't take the map? Everything is free in the library. Why didn't you take it?
Wasn't it like a huge map? Like, how would we have carried an absolutely massive map like that with us?
It was like the size of a dining table. Like, it was a very large map.
Roll it up. I mean,
I'm just walking away again.
Like, no.
Okay, well, but do you remember? Did you take notes? Did you remember who lived in the village? Do we have a name for that village?
It's an orc settlement town, probably fishermen. We don't have names because it's just a thing that's there. And I take mental notes. I don't eat paper.
You don't eat paper. I didn't eat paper. Okay. All right, let's go.
You guys continue on in that direction, and by and large, things seem to be going pretty well. The rest of the day, again, goes by relatively quietly, which is impressive given the circumstances. Eventually, you do find your way to, let's see, another area. Actually, give me a search, if you guys would like.
What?
Give me perception to see if you can find another nice place to call for the night.
Not I.
Could I roll a survival check?
Yeah, if you want to roll survival instead, you could.
It's worse.
It is somehow worse. You're just like, all right, I'm not seeing a place. Hold on, let me tap into my latent survival skills that I grew up in the city. Shit.
Well, at the same time, no, she does have survival skills, but she did grow up in the city.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's for this particular evening. Like you find that you can sleep sort of next to one of these rock outcroppings, but you don't find any sort of convenient dug-in areas this time around. And do you guys do the same as the last evening? You guys, like Katsiana, Knocker, and Daisy sleep for the evening, while Saices and Ophelia maintain watch?
Unfortunately, because it is on every other day, do require some sleep. Since we are kind of approaching the shore... Nah, it's still kind of high up in the rocky outcroppings. Yeah, just kind of like find a rock to lean against.
Nice.
Using her pack as a pillow.
I will stay up and watch.
All right. Okay. Oh, cool. All right, so it's just like good, great.
Good. Yep, good's gonna be good.
As you guys are out there, and the night seems to be passing by without incident. Like it is quiet. There is just nothing going on through the night. But you do see Saices as you're standing there, because no fire was lit. You guys decided just to sleep cold for the evening, or at least as cold as it gets in the extremely bland, sort of not too hot, not too cold, not really anything wasteland. As you're standing watch, you do see the figure of somebody standing maybe about 30 feet away from you. Standing in the dark, just a little ways off from you.
Cool. Cool, 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 cool. I am going to just keep an eye on that for a little bit.
Roll me. What do we use for concentration checks?
It's usually it's a wisdom.
It's wisdom or intelligence. Roll me whichever one of those you would like. Oh, also there's stuff in the arts. There's something in the artsy stuff. Oh, that's nice. It's a human version of Eris, and it is very cute.
We got a 14.
Here we got a 14. Okay, good. You maintain basically eye contact with, and I'll show the art to people in just a minute, but I just want to finish this. You basically maintain eye contact with this entity, for about 2 hours, as it is standing just on the edge of your vision, watching you guys, and then after a few hours, just before the sky starts to get light again, whatever this thing is steps backwards into the darkness and vanishes from view.
Cool, 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 cool. Okay. I don't like it.
Right. As the next dawn comes up, you guys find yourselves once again traveling east. This time with a little under a day's travel between you and your location. Remove whatever rations you need from your character sheets. And yeah, you guys continue heading in the easterly direction. Is there anything that you guys want to get up to before you arrive at your destination?
Just before we get there, I'm going to cast Disguise Self on myself.
Good smart.
And to those who have been with the A-Team since day one, I'm going to disguise myself as a female lady orc.
Yay!
Now,
with some furs and some leather and... Yay.
Green or gray?
Gonna go gray. Based on kind of where we are and other folks we've run into around here.
Okay. Yeah, so as you guys are getting close, you cast that spell and envelop yourself in the illusion of a gray orc. Though obviously not nearly as emaciated as some of them that you've seen, you do still have the gray skin and you're still standing proud, I would imagine, yes?
Yes, until I kind of until we get closer to town, I kind of get an idea of anything. I'm just like, okay, Orc Town, yeah, Mind Flayer, not going to be welcome, especially on these shores. Yeah.
Mercenary Pen says, luckily the Disguise Self spell wasn't transcribed incorrectly. Disguise Elf would be a lot less useful.
No, Mark, no one can disguise the sass.
Yeah. Oh, God. All right, so as you guys head over, eventually you come to the gates of what is a orcish settlement. And the orcish settlement itself is not unimpressive, but it does definitely defy logic that there are orcs living in such a desolate place. Though, obviously, as you approach, you see the sort of like haphazard wooden palanquin walls made from sort of the desecrated and drained wood that was located throughout the wastes. You do also see that this village straddles the edge of the water, and there are some small sort of not kayaks, but like canoes that they appear to be using for fishing. As you can also see, there are some fish racks that are just there to the edge of the water. As you approach, there is a tower that sort of sits up over the wall on one side, where there are 2 scouts watching you guys with a pair of bows, and down near the gate itself, there are another 2 surprisingly large and musculature for gray orcs, standing at the edges of the gate. They eye you suspiciously as you approach, not choosing to necessarily move or say anything first.
I guess we should just introduce ourselves.
Palisade, thank you, mercenary. Yes, palisade walls, not palanquin. That's my bad.
That's a little different.
it's a different thing. As you guys approach the large gate, one of the 2 orcs steps forward and puts a hand up to sort of indicate that you guys come no closer.
I guess I'll step out in front and say, like, "Hi there! We are a band of traveling people, and we're here to buy a boat."
And he sort of furrows his brow, the 2 eyebrows on his head sort of knitting together in the middle as he looks down at Knocker, turning his head slowly to the rest of the group. His eyes eventually fall on Ophelia, where he then speaks to you in a different tongue. Do you know Orcish?
Hold on, let me check. Say no.
Do you have a spell that lets you know Orcish?
I don't.
Oh boy.
But okay, but I have a way. So first off, would you like to demonstrate what is actually being said?
Oh, it's a very guttural language as he speaks in Orcish to you.
Wonderful. So trying to kind of see if I can okay, so I spent a bunch of time around orcs, and there's that one time, and I can maybe just something about no and maybe shoes. I don't think that's right. Detect thoughts.
Shoot me a thing for detect thoughts. Link it in the chats for me. Sorry.
Am of Mind Flayer. Detect thoughts.
Goodness. Yep. So you just getting that link into his mind. He is asking you if the creatures that you are traveling with are your people. If this is your tribe.
Okay, so this is gonna get a little funny.
Do you want to try to use your mind link to speak in Orcish back at him?
Oh, hold on a sec. I'm going to explain what's going on.
Okay.
I have a feeling.
And just kind of okay. And I think these are the sounds. I'm just gonna try it. So she kind of mimics back some sort of guttural response, trying to stumbling over the words apple, and scent and door and the feeling of dead trees. But while I'm making these completely incomprehensible sounds, I point at him and cast message. And
boy,
actually say, they are my tribe in as such as I travel with them. We have been sent from Otamath to perhaps talk of trade.
So you projected sensations into his mind, is that correct? And then,
message, you can just...
And then you sent a message.
No, so detect thoughts is I'm kind of detecting his surface thoughts as to what he's meaning.
Mm-hmm.
I made sounds out loud.
Oh God, okay,
that made no sense. And then telepathically, responded as to what I was trying to say, kind of matching it up in time with her basically going click 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 clack.
So you're attempting to do like your best approximation of Orcish back at him.
You're overdubbing yourself.
Yeah, you're dubbing over yourself. That's
I am
fucking
overdubbing
clever.
myself, but only to one guy because I'm just like, okay, I'm trying to balance a lot of things and trying to actually use some of the Orcish words that I know. So only the guy I'm actually like talking to understands it. I've completely forgotten about the other one.
Yeah, the other guard who's watching this happen has like a what? Like look at his face. The one that you're speaking, roll me performance. Just to see how well you sort of like dub over yourself with the message spell.
Performance. It's as average as everything else, but it's good.
All right. Yeah, no, you like do you do the equivalent of talking to someone as though you were a dubbed film. Like your mouth is making different movements, and then you say a thing as you're pointing at him, and he's like, and he like nods yes, and then like makes a motion for you guys to wait there, and turns to go into the village, and the one orc that's over there is like, and like they talk back and forth. The one guy that you were talking to like shrugged and just like was like, I don't fucking know. Like he walks into the village properly. If you guys wait outside, literally like not even a minute later, the orc comes back out, sort of like rubbing his head a little bit, looking still very confused, and following him is what you would see is perhaps a chieftain. It's a slightly larger orc. He has a large staff and a cloak that he wears.
Looking probably very similar to the chieftain we dealt with back on day one.
Mm-hmm. And as he sort of looks over your party, this orc also has a very large gray beard, though he's bald on top, and he's got lots of little beads and things sort of woven into his beard properly. The tusks coming out of his mouth have sort of things carved into the tusks themselves, and one of them has a large metal ring sort of sitting on top of it. And he kind of looks over the group, eyes you, Ophelia, specifically, and sort of squints his gaze and goes, speaking in common now, goes, "It is good to see more of our people out here in the wastes. Perhaps you would like to come in and discuss your trade with us."
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of seeing him approach, I just kind of like nod tersely but respectfully. Like no bow, just like nod of acknowledgement and thanks.
Yeah.
I'm just like, certainly thank you for allowing us within your walls.
And he nods to the party and goes, "Follow me." And he sort of trudges his way in, leading you to just slightly up a pathway onto like a slightly higher elevation. There is a large hut that you see just in the back there. It's got a few floors to it, and it's mostly cobbled together from what appears to be bits of dead wood, leather, and massive bones. And yeah, he leads you inside, and as he comes inside, there is one of the guards standing inside his tent whom he ushers to stand just outside. And he brings all of you guys in. There's a large fire pit in the middle of the room and a large chair over on the far side. He, as you guys come in, draws the leather cloth that is over the door, draws that to a close so that you guys have privacy, walks around the room, sits in his large chair far from the door, and then gesturing to Ophelia says, "You may rest."
So she just kind of sits down on the ground cross-legged?
and he goes, kind of seeing you do that, goes like, "No, please sit here." And he gestures to the sort of half logs that are next to the fire, and then again to Ophelia is just like, "You can rest. You may release your spell."
Okay. This will just fade with time. I think I'll feel more comfortable like this right now. Yeah.
So he like
Yeah.
shrugs and goes, "Oh, suit yourself. So here you're looking for trade.
Well, we need a boat.
A boat?" His eyebrows go way up, forming many wrinkles on his forehead up the top of his bald head. What kind of boat specifically are you looking for?
Well, I mean, I think Ophelia can probably tell you the where that we need to go, but I mean, it's got to fit like all of us, and then maybe somebody to like, pilot it. Because I don't know, dude. Are you guys good at boating? Does anyone know boats here?
And he goes, "Well, yes. Many of our people here in this village are fishers. That is mostly where we find our food from the great bounty of the sea. Though, if you're looking for, well, I mean, what do you need the boat for? Where are you trying to get?"
Ophelia, where we go?
And I just kind of like look awkwardly around the room and like in turn just like message everyone, just being like, do we really want to tell him where we're going?
Does it matter? I can respond back and just like with the message and just say,
Yeah.
I mean, just be vague. Just say that way.
Yeah, they're gonna know what's that way. Can any of us use a boat?
Well, we're not gonna. I mean, we can figure it out, but what does it matter?
We
Yeah,
we require a boat for travel. I don't really know what other information I have other than that.
Well, typically, the destination would dictate the boat. If you're just looking to go out into the water a little ways to get some fish, we have a lot of the smaller canoes for things like that. If you're looking to sail to another continent or something, then you need a larger boat. The canoes also work well enough if you're looking just to travel down along the side of the water. If you'd like to just, travel south or north along the shore. Those sorts of things.
Right. That makes sense.
We would require to go out a little bit more to sea.
Looking for something a bit bigger, eh? Well, we got a shipwright who works here. Interesting fella. Might be able to help you out, at the very least. Though our supplies for boats and whatnot are relatively limited. What have you brought to trade?
Bugs. I'll say, looking very confident. An assortment of the finest bugs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not entirely out of the wheelhouse of a goblin to offer bugs for trade, but...
I got a bag of bugs. They're good bugs.
You're right. Let's have a look.
I will proudly display my assortment of quality bugs.
Yeah, you take out this big jar, and you fucking plonk that down. The chieftain doesn't get up from his seat. He remains seated, and he kind of leans forward, and, kind of looks over the jar, tilts his head one side to the other, and kind of, that's not bad. I mean, I could trade you those bugs for some supplies. I know some folks that would find value in them. but bugs aren't gonna buy you a boat.
Oh.
I'm so tickled that this orc chieftain decided he was going to be kind enough to humor the goblin. It's like, you want a boat? What do you have to trade? I don't know, bugs.
I don't know, bugs? Of course it's bugs. You're a goblin. Why would it not be bugs? I don't know why. I would be surprised if it wasn't bugs.
Because it's a goblin. Of course, it's always bugs.
It's always
Okay,
bugs.
What,
well, point me
would-
in the direction of the supplies. I'll have all the supplies for the bug.
would we have any idea whether or not people the people who live out here in like the wasteland areas deal in coin? Would we know?
Roll me knowledge history. And NB was like, orcs like to play with us goblins. We teach them music and feed them kazoos by accident. Because they gave one of their kazoos to an orc to be like, look, you put it in your mouth and you blow, and he just ate it. Because he's...
Thank you, Emmy. Oh my god, that laugh was 100% unexpected. Oh wow. Oh fuck.
and then they say, Knocker, don't let them eat your bugs. And then it says, I taught one of the orcs to use a thumb piano, and then they ate my kazoo.
I don't care if they eat the bugs. It's okay if they. It's fine. I was gonna eat them, but I mean, I'll trade them for other things.
Considering who I'm thinking this chieftain is based off your description.
It's probably not who you think.
I'm hoping it's not who I think.
No.
We'll just continue.
But yeah, with a 6 in history, Cyaces, you have no idea if they use currency out here.
Mm-hmm.
You can ask.
Ooh.
Yeah, I suppose
Go
I
ahead.
could ask. Do you deal in coin in these parts?
And he puts both of his hands on the arms of his chair, and he goes, human currency, and then immediately chuckles a little bit and goes, I'm just kidding. Sometimes, yes, we... so
I like this guy.
I mean, we don't often trade in gold or silver or anything like that very, very regularly. It's not something that we in the wastes, and he hits his chest, use to trade. It's mostly food or skills are the kinds of things that we like to pass to one another. You say you come from Autometh, though.
Yes, yes, we do.
The great door of the dead, it seems.
As some people call it.
And he sort of runs his fingers through his long beard, and says, there are many who would say I shouldn't trade with you, because the kingdom of death that exists within the mountains is said to control the minds of its people. That it is a place of slavery and death.
Superstition.
Indeed. And he, eyeing Cyaces, goes, the rumors are not entirely unfounded, but it appears as though the majority of you are living folk. So, you have coin you could trade with us.
For a boat? Yeah. Oh yeah, right. Coins. I keep forgetting those things are a thing. Yeah. We got some coins. You guys got coins? I got a few coins.
If I may ask a question.
He nods at you. Yeah.
Your fishing expeditions. How well do they go?
Well, he sort of kind of moved his head back and forth. Well enough to feed the people, most times.
Is it dangerous?
Now, he kind of leans forward and points at you. He says, like, now that it could be, depending. It depends on who you ask. Going out long enough to fish, that's safe. Going further than that can be dangerous.
And why is it dangerous?
Well, the sea is home to many things other than fish. There could be large beasts that exists out there. So we're told, at the very least.
And what are those superstitions regarding?
Well, it would be regarding large tentacled monsters that exist in the water that devoured one of our fishing boats that strayed too far, so now we don't do that anymore.
And just kind of like looking around at the group before speaking. What if I said we could assist with some of those monsters in the deep?
Very slowly, his eyebrows raise all the way up. And he goes, really? You could handle some of the larger beasts that call the depths of the sea home.
Not so much handle, but cause them to be less of a nuisance, perhaps less in number, weaker.
And how would you propose to do that? You slay these beasts, or...
Taking out their source.
He ponders a little bit, kind of running some of his fingers through his beard again as he ponders. So, you're going to the Black Isle.
Ices kind of just like looks over at Ophelia, kind of nervously.
Oh shit, he's got our number!
It's just like she stays completely deadpan,
Yep.
but keeps eye contact. Doesn't say anything, does not move, facial features do not move whatsoever.
Oh yeah,
Here's
like poker face.
Here is a question.
Yes.
How long has it been since we approached the gate?
I mean, as long as we've been talking, plus like maybe 5 minutes.
So about 20?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay. As the chieftain sort of sits and thinks for a little while, eventually he sort of leans to the other side of his chair, regarding the group and goes, I don't know if I have any boats that could get you there fast enough or safe enough to that island. We also run the risk that if any of our ships go over there and you get killed, then it could be traced back to us. We stay out of the way of the Black Island, and they do not come ashore and murder the lot of us. It is an unspoken truce. That being said, we could... with the right resources, we might be able to build you something fast enough to get the group of you there quickly.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Didn't mean to send that.
It lasts an hour.
Yep. That's why I It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
And he kind of thinking about it is just like, you'd have to talk to our shipwright to see if he might be able to make something with what he has on hand. Otherwise, you might need to travel to find some resources or perhaps commandeer a ship from somewhere else.
It doesn't need to be anything particularly... If you gave us something nondescript, you wouldn't miss. Because there is a chance we may not be able to bring it back.
Well, I mean, if I did sell you a boat and you were heading to the Black Isle, it would be with the understanding that you'd probably not return, yes.
And now I'm just thinking, like, part of me wants to use planar shift to just show up at his bedroom, just be like, "Hi!"
Poof, we're home! Ah! And he's like, well, I'm not a betting orc, but, you know, none that have gone to the Black Isle have returned. And while you do, I mean, as capable as you may be, appearances notwithstanding, there are legends of larger boats that have attempted to make their way there and have not returned.
So I just looked at something in the spell. It seems I can actually use an action to dismiss it.
Oh, there you go.
So hold. Well, also, she didn't want to dismiss it because she's like, I don't really like.
Yep.
I have a feeling that if we do make our way there, even if it is in something that it would be recognizable as yours, that we might have a bit of an advantage in convincing them that we had simply taken it for ourselves and fit in there just a little better. And with that, she just kind of snaps her fingers, and her disguise drops, and she just lowers her veil. Showing her true face, and she's trying to like keep that poker face up and is trying to like maintain eye contact with him.
Oh yeah, do me, fuck, because I don't want to say this is an intimidate because you're not trying to intimidate him. But roll me persuasion.
The same.
Damn.
Yes.
He, for all of his bravado, does not fully maintain a poker face. You see him falter ever so slightly as you pull your veil down and stand confidently in his presence. And he...
Okay. All right. Talk to our shipwright. See what he can put together for you. If you can make the monsters go away, or at the very least, dissuade them from being in the ocean, it might be to our benefit. Though I'd need you to leave something here as, I don't know, trade, and then you can come back for it. Just in case you die. We don't make a boat for nothing.
Not it.
Damn it! I was gonna jokingly just like look over at Knocker and be like, huh?
The goblin's not worth a boat.
You're damn right. Wait.
Wait a second.
Wait, you goddamn... Aw. He stands up, and he goes,
Come, I'll introduce you to our shipwright. He's a fine, upstanding fellow, built all the boats that we've got.
leading you outside. Do you recast your disguise?
Oh, hell yes.
Okay, cool. Recasting the spell on yourself, he leads you out into the village proper. Moving between the different huts and structures that are there, he eventually makes it down to the water's edge, where there is a small hut constructed from wood. However, its construction does appear to be a bit different from the rest of the structures that are in the village. Like, its architecture is different. And there are a series of canoes that are just outside that have been sort of pulled up onto the water, as well as a small shipyard, which is basically like a big capital U made of wood set down in the water where ships can be constructed. Yeah. And he walks up to this small structure and bangs on the door with his two knuckles. And you hear from the inside a, okay, hey, wait, yes, coming, just a minute. The door swings open, and you are greeted with a human man. He wears tattered blue trousers that seem to have been ripped and torn up in and around the knees, as well as a sort of like a patchwork white shirt, and then over top of it is like one of those blue sort of navy jackets, but all but the tasseled shoulders seems to have been ripped or worn away. So he's basically just wearing like tasseled blue and gold shoulder pads. And he comes out, he's got like a very unkempt, scraggly brown hair and a beard. And he sort of pokes out and he goes, "Oh, guests! Hello! Chief! What can I do for you?"
I'll just lean over to like size to like the group and just be like, "He sounds really familiar. Is this what he'd look like with skin?"
Siaces like giggles a little bit, like quietly.
He definitely has like a bit of a crazy look to him. But the chieftain, just almost exhausted by the presence of the human, turns to the rest of your group and goes, "Everyone, this is Nigel." And he goes, "Right, it's Nigel. Yes, sorry, Captain Nigel. I suppose, though not anymore since the loss of our ship. Yes. Hello." And he does like an awkward bow.
What's your last name?
Oh no! Don't do it to him! Don't do it to him!
It's not Thornberry.
Says the gray orc. In common.
Yeah. Like, what is your name? What's your last name? It's not Thornberry.
No. That's not what I'm looking for.
It's not Hyde either. He introduces himself as Nigel Seaspray, and bows to the group in a very sort of like large flourishing gesture in such a way that he almost falls over, and then stands back upright again and goes, "Yes. So what are you doing here? I don't have enough room for all of you in my house." And he gestures to what is effectively the size of two outhouses next to each other, a small wooden shack. The chieftain goes, No, Nigel, we're not here for that. As it stands, these lovely people are looking for a boat. And he goes, "Oh, yes. Well, we have a lovely selection." He gestures to the canoes that are along the shoreline. He goes, No, not for fishing. More of a hunting vessel. A bit further out.
I like that term.
At that notion, you see Nigel immediately shrink. And he goes, No, you don't, no, hunting, does not happen when you are out there. You are fishing or you are prey. We don't do that. You said we don't do that." And he sort of gestures to the chief. He's like, "You promised me we don't go out there. We just stay here and we live our life and we're very happy, safe on the sand. Safe on the sand. We went over this." And he sort of, the chieftain kind of gestures a bit with his hands, and he's just,
"Now, look, there is a possibility if you could make something that's fast enough to accommodate these few here, whisk them past any danger. They believe they have a solution to the source of this problem."
And Nigel sort of keeps shaking his head no silently, and slowly starts backing into the cabin that he came out of. What do you guys do?
I'm going to... Okay, is anyone else doing anything first?
No, I'm listening.
No, I'll defer to you on this one.
So he's backing away, or has he turned around?
He's backing up into his hut. He's not making eye contact with anybody. Like, he's shaking his head no, and his eyes are looking at the sand. As he does so, does anybody want to roll insight?
Sure.
Yeah.
No. Oh boy, we all suck.
Yep.
Well, he's
Okay.
definitely scared.
We're gonna do it detect thoughts, cause I have free cast.
Yeah. Go for it.
Detect
as
thoughts.
As you detect the thoughts, does it give you like exactly what they are thinking, or?
So
See,
there's
give me the
different levels of it. As the initial cast, you can, for free without the person knowing, you can get like their surface level thoughts. But if I want to go any deeper than that, then I have to roll to see what I get, or if they notice that I'm going.
Oh yeah,
further.
it's
But I just get kind of getting like the surface level thoughts, the kind of general feelings, like what is just right there.
on the edge of his mind, you hear screaming. You hear the snap and shatter of a great ship. And it's like he is in a PTSD flashback. He was the captain of a large vessel, and it seems a kraken devoured it. He barely survived.
We can stop that from happening to anyone else.
Give me another persuasion.
Persuasion is...
Roll it again with advantage,
Cool.
because you're using detect thoughts to.
Nice.
Well, it didn't get worse.
There it is. We found a use for it. Sweet.
All right.
It didn't get worse. It didn't crit bad. It's just
That's true.
the same.
He keeps shaking his head, no, and slowly backs into his tiny cottage, and shuts the door. The chieftain sighs and turns to the rest of your group and goes,
His ship was destroyed by a large sea monster. He washed up on the shore here some time ago. He's just been living here and building canoes for our tribe and helping us fish in exchange for being allowed to live here. Why he doesn't return home, I'm not sure, but we're happy to have his expertise. If you can convince him to help you, then you could...
Jesus. Oh wait, sorry, no, I got it. I thought like I heard you roll another thing, and I thought it was another 5 in persuasion.
No.
When I looked over,
No.
and I was like, Christ. No. So,
Got it?
yeah, the chieftain says if you can try to get him to, like, if you can convince him to help you, then
He could be of aid, but he would be the man to build your ship.
He's gotta build it? How long is that gonna take? Why don't we just take his ship? Oh, wait.
and the chieftain gestures to the canoes that are there. They appear to be made from scrap parts of another ship, as well as bits of pieces of the dead wood that you see the village is made of, and like, you know, it's sort of a mixture of their building materials and what his ship used to be made from.
Let me try to talk to him. I feel like I get through to him.
And he nods to you and, you know, gestures to the cabin and says,
I'll leave you to it.
and slowly he turns and heads back into the village proper.
Hey guys, I think I can do this. So I'll just walk over and I'll gently knock.
As you gently like knock on the wood of the door, you can hear from exactly the other side of that Nigel go, yes.
I'm just gonna. Is it open? Can I like?
No,
can
he
I,
doesn't,
walk?
he doesn't open it.
But like, is it? Did he lock it, or like, can I just open the door and go?
But you can just open it, yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, I'm just gonna walk. I'm just gonna open the door and go.
You open the door. He's standing immediately on the other side of it. Jumps a little bit at the sight of you and goes, "Ah, Goblin! Oh, and sort of mouses a little bit further into his cabin, which is just enough room for a bedroll, and even then the bedroll is not fully rolled open, so if he does lie down in here, he has to sleep with his legs bent in order to fit.
So I'm gonna mimic him, and I'm just gonna go like, "Oh, human." And then I'll say like, "Hey, man," and I'll close the door behind me and sort of slowly approach him and say like, "Look,
When you close the door behind you, the two of you are pretty much standing against each other. It's so small inside the cabin.
That's fine. I'm gonna sort of like, loom over him as best I can because he's a human and I'm a god. And I'm gonna say like, listen, me and my friends out there are monster slayers. Okay? We slay monsters. That's what we do. Now, I hear that you fell prey to some kind of monster out there. But that's what we do. You should see some of the crazy monsters that we've slain. We've slain big monsters and little monsters, and if you take us out there on the water, there's no way anything bad could happen. We are the preeminent monster slayers in like the entire, what is this, a wasteland of some kind? Yeah, this wasteland. It's like a wasteland, this part of the world, maybe the whole world, probably the whole world. I mean, like, you see what we have to work with here. Plus, we have a fairy dragon. So, like, that alone, knocks us up a couple points. Yeah, well, fairy dragon. She's a dragon, definitely. So,
roll me a bluff. Yeah, all right. And you see him kind of like almost dry a tear a little bit as he wipes his face with a sleeve of his shirt, which seems to have been repaired many times. And he goes, "You really think you guys can do it?"
Yeah, man, we got you. Like, wait, what kind of monster is it?
It is a kraken. It is a great, awful beast. Perhaps even the size of this village with huge tentacles.
Oh, tentacles. Oh, we're all over tentacles. Tentacles are our jam, man. We are all over tentacle monsters. You should have seen the tentacle monster that we killed before. It was crazy.
So I managed to overhear that, and I'm just kind of outside, and I literally burst out laughing. But I'm just like, hey!
Hey man, between you and me, tentacles, I hear ya. Any opportunity I have to, with the tentacles, yeah, we'll take them out for sure. They're scary, right? Super scary. But don't worry, we got you. We will fight, and this monster. Are you gonna come with us, or like just give us the boat? You should probably drive the boat. You drive the boat. It'll be fine. You drive the boat. We'll take care of the monster. You said it was the size of the. Wait, just let me just step it back there for a second. You said it was the size of the. You said it was the size of the village. The size of the village. It was the size of the village.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, totally not a problem. Start getting your boat ready, and we'll be totally ready for that when the time.
Right, and he sort of as you're talking to him about this stuff, he rallies a little bit, and he goes, "Yes, perhaps we just need some unconventional heroes like you. Perhaps we could make this work." And he throws open the door to his cabin and steps out triumphantly and says, "Captain Nigel C. Spray at your service."
All right, Nigel, let's do this thing.
Now, he looks to the rest of you. We are going to need a boat.
Yes, that is why.
That's why we're here, baby.
Yes.
Indeed. So, now, what we have here are a collection of canoes, small sort of single or two-person fishing vessels, which I do not believe would work in our favor if we were to go up against the Great Kraken. That being said, I do know where they do have other better ships. As a matter of fact, I know the people who make them, as well as the Navy itself.
Uh-huh.
Though I don't know if I should go home. He sort of deflates a little bit on the spot.
Oh. Hey man, home is where the heart is.
Our ship was expeditionary originally. We were to go and scout the dangers and wonders of the Black Island, and our ship, like many before it, was destroyed. Though perhaps if we got something faster, and he sort of taps his fingers together, and he, thinking to himself, he looks around. He's like, something quicker, something smaller that could just maybe hold the few of us. If it could just go fast enough, it could perhaps elude the giant beast, and we could make landfall without having to worry about it.
Eluding, landfall. Yeah, I like all those words. Those sound like boat words.
What is the little boy doing right now?
Oh, Seth?
Yes.
He's hanging out in your hood. Every now and then a little eye peeks out.
That's... No, I guess you didn't get my message.
Oh, nope. Sorry. That's my bad. There we go. Oh, God, you're so mean. Okay, so... while you guys are standing there talking, Seth sort of flops out of the hood. Now, you are still encased in an illusion, so it appears as though as he climbs down the side of you and then slides down your leg, it looks like you shit a tiny octopus, and he slides down your leg like a fire pole, and then flops onto the wet sand, sort of turning his jelly-like head over to look at Nigel. Nigel immediately lets out a tiny shriek and runs back into his cabin, closes the door.
Yeah, great. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Now I know how.
Seth continues to sort of flop and slop his way across the wet sand towards the tiny cabin door and starts squibshing himself underneath it.
Well,
No.
we didn't need a boat anyway, I guess.
As he, a few seconds later, finishes about halfway underneath the door, squibshing in to the tiny cabin through the little space between the door and the sand, and you hear this come from inside the cabin.
I can salvage this. Wait.
I got another one. Seth, give him a gift.
Oh.
You hear screaming for almost a full minute, and then eventually it stops, and you hear this. Oh, well, thank you. The door opens about 10 seconds later, and Nigel comes stepping out, very sweaty, and confused, and he's holding a quill in one hand, and the tiny octopus is sitting on his shoulders, looking very pleased as it, playfully paws at the side of his face with its tentacles.
Oh,
See?
baby.
Tentacles can be okay, too. So, you gotta judge a tentacle on, a tentacle-by-tentacle basis. Not all tentacles are bad.
Hashtag not all tentacles.
And he kind of nods down to you, Knocker, and goes, "Yes, well, I suppose it is the size that matters."
Maybe this Kraken is misunderstood.
Well, if that was the case, it did come at the cost of quite a few lives. If you are looking to get to the Black Isle, I could get you to make landfall, perhaps. It would require us, though, to either build our own ship here. We might need to take apart some of these canoes to do so, or if we wanted something fast and clean and capable, we could commandeer a sloop.
How long would it take to refashion these canoes?
Several days. Maybe a week.
Several days.
Sloop, you say?
Yes, a sloop is a small ship. It only has one sail, though it moves quite fast. It is very maneuverable. It has only one area below deck. There's only the one main deck.
Sloop.
Yes.
Yep, sloop. That is officially my new favorite word. Daisy, would you care to be renamed? Oh, she left her phone on the other side of the room just a second.
No.
Fair enough. I will remember that word for later. I think we should get to sloop. We should get the sloopiest sloop, because that is the best word ever, and how could anything be bad if it's called...
And Nigel sort of chuckles a little bit and goes, yes, well, I suppose that could work to our advantage, yes. The name is quite fitting, in terms of nautical terms and what have you. Anyway, so... what are you liking the idea of getting a sloop from the town to the south, from Ikris, or how are we feeling?
I mean, take me through the process of, you said commandeering?
Yes.
As in, like...
borrowing with the intent to return. I mean, there does...
We cannot... Ophelia just kind of like puts up her hand for a quick, like just slowly just puts up her hand.
Mm-hmm.
Just keeps getting a little bit higher. Until...
before addressing you, goes. We could get to the town. There's definitely a distinct possibility that I might be able to talk my way back into the Navy, and they would gift me with another smaller ship, a sloop that we could use. I would need new clothes. I would likely also need to shave. Yes. What do you have a question?
I cannot guarantee the intent to return the boat.
Indeed. Well, I mean, if we make landfall upon the Black Isle, there's definitely a good chance that we will not return at all, or even make it, as it were. But we'll see what happens.
That's different. There is definitely intent to do that, and there's definitely a good possibility of doing that, just not the boat.
Clay says in the chat, Knocker does not slurp. He sloops.
You're damn right.
Will he sleep on the sloop?
I would sleep on the sloop. I will sleep sloopily. So let me just like wrap my head around this. I don't know much about nauticality, but I know a couple things.
Yes.
And I know one word, and that word is pirate. And if we steal a boat, doesn't that make us pirates?
Well, and he's sort of kind of looks around and shifts a bit in his shoes, or at least what's left of them. And he's like, well, I mean, if we took it and then we used it to attack other ships of the Empire, then one may consider that, yes, piracy.
All right.
However,
so
if we take one and we bring it back later, it would just be sort of an extended borrowing without notification.
Borrowy, yeah, borrowy.
But again, that relies on the returning part.
Yeah, but definitely not bringing the boat back. I mean, maybe he'll bring the boat back at some point. We're probably not, from what I understand, and I look over at Ophelia, from what I understand, like, not if I'm right here, we're not coming back.
No, not on the boat. And you're welcome to not come back on the boat with us.
I mean, if that's what you want, we can set it on fire, we can do whatever.
Well, if
I
your
don't think
intention...
we want to intentionally set... We don't plan to intentionally set it on fire, Knocker.
Well, not intentionally, but, things happen.
I don't like fire.
Now, if we do make it to the island, I will be staying with the ship.
All right.
And then if your intention is, of course, to go within the Black Isle and then somehow calm the beast by routing the source of corruption, then I could just sail back all the safely. Or I could take a longer trip around and see if perhaps I could avoid the beast that way.
Well, you could always come with us. What better way to take revenge and put the souls of your compatriots to rest than by ultimately removing the threat of the beast from the ocean for good?
I could return home a hero.
Damn hell-ass hero.
Yes. I do like this. He nods. All right. So we are, together, a troop. The Sloop Troop.
Whoa, Sloop Troop! Oh, damn
This campaign is now blurst. So very blurst.
He seems excited by the notion. He goes, "Yes, well, if we travel south to Icarus, one way or another, there's a very good chance we could take a sloop from them. Either commandeer it and return it later, or have it given to us, and we could then make our way to the Black Isle, deal with this Kraken and its source of corruption, whatever that may be. No one's ever gone into the Black Isle and come out alive. But then return home heroes, or die on the open sea. Whichever.
Yeah, whichever.
Not so much a fan of that last one.
Heroes
Hey, look,
we will be.
Heroes. I mean, what did you think was gonna? Let's do it. I clap my hands together. I'm excited. I'm excited for this plan. This is gonna be great.
Right, yes. Let me get my things. And he quickly runs inside of his cabin and closes the door. About a half of a second later, he reopens the door and steps out. He has a little corncob pipe in his mouth, and he goes, "Right, good to go."
All he got. That's all he got.
That's it? Just a corncob pipe? You know, like a sword or...
So wait, so Seth is still on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
How does he react to the pipe?
Seth is just looking around very much like a parrot on a pirate's shoulder. Every now and then his tentacles kind of play with the little tassels that are still left of like the last vestiges of his jacket. Yeah, he's kind of like just brushing him, playing with him. And he goes, "Good! We can head out as early as now, if you would like."
Now we're...
Excellent.
That'd be fine.
And he very, in a manner that is both triumphant and awkward, marches into the village and into the chieftain's hut. Do you guys go with
we're
him?
going that way. Yep. I can't leave him
We're
alone.
gonna follow him at a distance. I am not going right back into that hut. No. I'm gonna stay outside.
Okay. Does anybody go in the hut?
But
Oh.
I'm gonna look through Seth's eyes,
Okay.
since I'm assuming Seth is still on his shoulder.
Yep. Yeah, so gazing through Seth's eyes, does anybody else go into the chieftain's hut along with Nigel?
I go in as well.
Yeah, I'm going in.
Okay. As you all enter in, you make your way into the chieftain's hut, and Nigel sort of in a grand flourish like opens the big leather drapery that is the doorway, and then steps in and has like a very like wide and confident posture, and he goes, "Chieftain, I am going to be leaving for the open sea again." And the chieftain, sort of unsurprised, kind of nods at him and goes, "I see you've made some friends." And he goes, "Yes, and for all your hospitality that you've given me, and for all the help that you've given me in healing through my dire time, I will give you this, my prized possession, my corncob pipe. And he holds his pipe out towards the chieftain. The chieftain just shakes his head no and goes, "No, you, keep your gross pipe. I don't need it."
Savage. just
so rude. The canoes that you've made for us, we will be keeping, as well as your teachings on how to fish more efficiently out here. We'll take that as gift and trade enough, if that's all right with you. And without breaking stride, Nigel goes, "Very well," and spins around on his foot and goes, "Farewell, good chieftain," and makes his way out the front door. The chieftain rolls his eyes and shakes his head at him. As you guys then make your way out. Is there anything else you guys want to do?
Yeah, I wanted to thank the chieftain for his hospitality.
And he, nods and smiles to you and goes, "You seem nice folk. I hope you find whatever it is that you're looking for and give us safer waters to fish in at some point in the future."
We shall do our best. Thank you.
He smiles
We'll
warmly.
be safe as possible.
Ophelia's just gonna poke her head in for a second, because she didn't actually go in, she just stayed outside. She's like, if I could get your name, I could pass on your regards to the Black King.
Of course. And he gets up and sort of makes a salute by banging his fist against his chest. I am... Oh, God. Where did I write it down? I had a name. It's not that guy. That's the other.
I was gonna say.
It's a different... That's the name of a different guy. Where is it? We will call him... Yeah, okay. We'll just call him Chieftain Brine.
Brine?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'll just kind of nod back and be like, I will make sure to pass on your kind regards for your assistance to the king.
He declines his head back in respect towards you. All right.
And we're just gonna keep and she gets very nervous all of a sudden. She's like, we're just gonna keep my what I actually look like just between us, right?
And he kind of nods to you and goes, "Well, you're traveling with them now, so you're gonna have to figure that out yourself."
Oh no, that's fine. I meant everyone else.
Oh, your secret's safe with me. Don't worry.
Okay, good. Thank you.
And he gives you a sort of a nod and a smile that's very fatherly in that sense. And then you guys are heading south now.
Yay!
Right. Yeah, so as you guys head in the southern direction, you kind of have the last half of the day ahead of you, heading along through the wastes.
So after an hour expires, I no longer look like an orc.
Yeah, so you guys are traveling, and Nigel has just a great stride as he's he's got his fucking elbows out as he's walking. It's a very suburban speed walking kind of way that he's going through the wasteland that he's doing. And then a little under an hour later, as you guys are traveling through the wasteland, you turn back into an Elithiad. Are you standing in front of or behind him?
I will have been standing behind him, but I'll just kind of close the distance a little bit and just pick Seth up off of his shoulders and go, "Okay, you time to come back here."
Oh dear.
There is a full as you're behind him and you pick up Seth. Am I understanding correctly?
Yes.
Yeah. There's a full 10, 20 minutes that he's still walking, hasn't turned back to look at the group. But eventually, he does turn after a little while, looking over the shoulder to make sure that you guys are still there behind him, notices Ophelia and shrieks.
Has her veil up though. Has her veil.
Well, yeah, but he does like a little shriek, and takes the pipe out of his mouth and holds it in a very threatening manner towards you, and he goes, "Who's this?"
Oh yeah, we probably forgot to address that.
He's like,
ass.
Cyaces takes her hand and like gently like presses down on his like outstretched arms, like no.
No.
And I'll just respond. Would you feel more comfortable if I kind of took some of the gray mud over here and just wiped it across my face for the next little bit?
It takes him like 5 whole ass seconds before he goes,
Oh, you were the orc! You were the orcish woman from the village!
Well, not from
Sorcery!
the village.
Are you a powerful wizard? Is that how you kill monsters? Is that how you all kill monsters? Monsters who kill monsters. That's so fascinating.
Well, hold on. Let's not throw that word around.
That's
Let's
our
not
word.
Bandy it about.
He's like, that's our word. No.
boy.
I mean, like, monsters hurt people who are innocent. And that's not what we do.
I see. Right, so then you are a purple wizard.
Yep, she's a purple wizard. That's what, just go with that. Let's just go with that.
Purple wizard needs food badly.
And we did mention taking it tentacle by tentacle.
Exactly.
Yes.
Set that one up specifically.
Thank you.
Right, well, my new traveling friends, Purple Wizard, let us go.
Damn right. Let's do this thing.
And he turns, and as he's like marching off into the distance, you can roll perception for me, actually.
Yeah. I'm half debating as to whether or not I should just try and cast Detect Thoughts, just be like, is he gonna stab me in my sleep?
You had your veil up. He didn't see the tentacles.
No, I was, but I was just like, but one.
Daisy and Cyaces, are you guys gonna do perception as well? 8. Oop. Oop. Brains. Oh, 16. Okay, so both Daisy and Ophelia, you guys both hear as he's walking jauntily, he's suddenly talking very excitedly about, his new traveling friends and how he's going to get his life back and he's going to get back on the sea and he doesn't have to be afraid anymore because now we have a purple wizard who's very purple and she has lots of magic and I'm sure that magic is very powerful because they kill monsters and we can't use that word though. Monsters is a different thing, but I mean that they said they were monster killers, so it's good. He's like, yeah, and we got a fairy dragon that I haven't seen, but it's fine.
We broke him. Oh, this is gonna go so bad.
Oh boy!
And she's very purple.
She's really purple. Is that like? Does that mean that she's got really good magic? Is the more purple you are, mean the more magic you have? Is that why wizards wear weird purple robes? Like, is that?
I'm getting some very strong Seahawk vibes off of this guy.
It might be an older, crazier Seahawk. Yes. Adventure.
And to anyone who was wondering why Seth suddenly rolled down my shoulder, is I told him to go make a new friend.
Yep.
That's the best.
Go make a new friend.
Seth should be everybody's friend.
Seth is everybody's friend. Unless he's being thrown at people, fastball special style. It's fun to be friends with friends. That's right, Envy.
Oh, no, it's even better because it's fun to be friends with fiends. That's what he is.
Oh,
I love that. That's very good.
heck yeah.
Because he's not just an octopus. He's a fiend familiar.
This is true. And I want to say a big thanks to everybody who's in the chat who's sharing all this love for Pride, all these lovely rainbow colors. I love it. Thank you so much. You guys are fantastic. It's so wonderful every now and then looking over and seeing all the unicorns and the rainbows and the paint and the rainbow tea. Big loves for everybody in chat. Yeah, you travel for the rest of the day and eventually come to a nice area where you guys can camp for the evening. Is there anything in specific that you guys want to do before we turn over to the next day?
Nope.
Sciaces would like to specifically make the effort to make a campfire.
Sweet.
Since what happened the last time.
Roll me survival.
Ha 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 ha.
You find a handful of pieces of wood that it's like 3 chunks of like desecrated gray wood that you put in a little pile. Do you have a flint and tinder or some way of starting the fire on you?
I don't worry. Just put the wood together. I got.
Okay.
will-
Sciaces takes the wood and makes it into a little pile and doesn't know how the fired wood should be configured for making a fire. So
I'm sure that's.
It's in a neat little pile.
I'm sure that's fine. And I'm gonna snap my fingers and cast create bonfire and whoosh.
Woo.
So you like immediately as all of this is happening, like snap your fingers and the fire starts, and yeah, like it's comfortable, it's warm. Nigel sits very comfortably. He sort of like shimmies himself into a nice comfy seat in the sand, and he warms his hands by the fire, and he goes, "Oh, this is wonderful, thank you."
Sciaces is very pleased and claps her hands, like, "Oh yay!"
Yay!
I did a good.
Yeah. And as you guys settle in for the evening, the gentleman traveling with you, Nigel, he sort of like pulls up a rock and some sand and just passes out for the night. And Sciaces, do you remain on watch as per usual?
I do.
Cool.
As does Ophelia, because it is every other day.
Yeah, okay. The night passes. Actually, give me a. Let's see if you see this. Sciaces, give me a perception.
What about me?
Oh yeah, you're gonna stay awake as well. Yeah, roll me a perception too. Okay. So yeah, as the night passes on, like it's dark. You're doing pretty good job. Like the bits of wood that you found create a small enough flame that lasts for a few hours to give you some visibility through the darkness as the night passes through, and you see Sciaces as you guys are standing there. In the darkness, you see something glinting in the sand. Maybe 10 feet from where you're standing. The flickering firelight that is the little bonfire that you guys have is glinting off of something metal.
So Sciaces kind of gestures to Ophelia to kind of point towards what she sees.
Do I have better No, I don't have better vision than that.
That's okay. You see Sciaces gesture to something in the dark, but whatever it is, it's not catching your eye.
Mm-hmm.
So Sciaces kind of says, I'm gonna go investigate. It's not too far out, so I'm gonna go take a look. Just keep an eye.
Okay. If anything happens, just scream, and I'll just kind of like wink at her playfully.
Icy just kind of like gives her a little smile. And I go and take a look.
Yeah, as you walk over and you sort of like, I guess, dig into the sort of the dust and the sand that makes up the wasteland, it reveals a brass cloak pin. And it has attached to it just the smallest bit of cloth that is of a golden color, like it's a golden sheen. The brass cloak pin itself is very tarnished, but it does emblazon on the front of it the symbol of the Empire.
Okay. So she takes it back with her to camp. And she holds it out to show Ophelia.
Yeah, the symbol of the Empire is like is like a stylized sun.
Mm-hmm. As she sees it, Ophelia kind of like visibly recoils away from it. Where did you find?
And under the sand, just over there. What do you make of it? It seems tarnished, so...
Probably left over from one of their conquests this far north. I hate that we're going...
Oh, sorry, you finish.
I hate that we're going further into their territory.
Hopefully we won't be here for long. Am I able to do like a history check to see if I can
go for it.
Glean any more information off of this?
Mm-hmm.
Boop.
18. Nice. Looking this over, it is tarnished. So it's old, but like it doesn't rain here in the wastes, despite the fact that the sky is always gray. The edges of the piece of cloth, the golden cloth that's still attached to the pin, are frayed out, but the part that's still attached to the brooch itself is surprisingly luminescent. You're not necessarily sure what it's made from, but whatever it was very gaudy. Looking it over, like recognizing the symbol that's on it as the symbol of the Empire, this was something that their soldiers wore. You remember from Willow, someone had a brooch like this.
Huh.
Not the same one, but you recognize it.
Okay. And I guess I tuck that information into the back of my little ghost memory banks.
Yeah. You can put it in your ghost pocket.
Yeah.
Which, now that I'm thinking about it, would be kind of like funny if someone's just like, yeah, that'll be 50 gold. And you're like, yup. And you just like reach into your chest and just like pull it out of your being. And they're just like, ah, like the whole time.
And you're just like, sorry, do you have change for 100?
Do you have change for a
like
platinum? So yeah, you can tuck that away in your inventory if you like, which is a tarnished brass cloak pin of the Empire.
Alright, damn. It's been noted. Okay.
So yeah, the rest of the night passes without incident. As the morning comes, there is like another 2 days worth of travel that you guys head south through, and eventually you make your way to to the edge of the woods.
Yay.
Finally, woods.
Are these the same woods?
Well, I mean, it's the same forest that crosses the entirety of the southern border of the Monstrous Wastes, but you are much closer now to the what's what I'm looking for? You're a lot closer now to the shoreline than you were previously.
Do I get a very strange, oppressive feeling from these woods like we've gotten before, with nightmares?
You know what? Roll me Arcana as you guys enter the trees. It's an 8.
My rolls tonight are pretty meh.
You die! I'm kidding.
It's an 8! Don't you dare!
It is death! They have chosen the bees! Yeah, as you guys head into the forest, you reach out with some of your arcane senses to see if you can sense any of that, like, oppressive corruption that is in the woods here. And surprisingly, as you come along, nothing. As you enter the trees, it is like this is the same forest, but it feels different.
Good.
Like you're walking around in the trees and like it feels brighter somehow.
This is what it's supposed to feel like.
Yeah, like Knocker, you feel these woods and they are just, this is home. That strange corruption, that sickness that permeated these forests recently has all but since vanished. And you find yourselves now walking through what is a very pleasant experience through these trees. The sun peeks in through some of the leaves. The smell of the forest fills you, and it's just that mixture of those earthy tones and the scent of bark and leaves. Some flowers you smell on the edge of the wind.
Perfect.
As you are traveling along, your companion, Nigel is just like, yes, this is, nothing like a good jaunt through the woods. And he, very excitedly continues heading along a path that leads south. Do you guys get up to anything during the day as you're traveling through the trees?
Well, I'm just looking to keep my eyes open, looking for anything that I could use to communicate with my Fae.
Yeah, give me a perception. Roll me some sweet perception, my man. Daisy can also join in if you would like. Oh, dope. Though that was a 19. That was amazing.
Double 19.
Yeah. Gabouche.
It's like a double rainbow.
Okay. 12, that's good. As the day reaches midday, and the sun is at its highest point, the party stops to sort of catch their breath and drink some water. It would appear as though Nigel just needs a moment to kind of rest his feet for a quick bit before you guys continue on your adventure. Just next to where you guys have stopped, there is a small clearing in the trees, and you spot in the center of that clearing a circle of mushrooms.
Hot diggity fuck.
All right, I'm going for it.
All right. So work it out for me. What do you do?
Well, I'm going to
And be really
grab
like
some
hot diggity
leaves.
fuck.
What's that?
And be really like the hot diggity fuck.
I'm just gonna beeline it for the circle. I'm gonna grab some leaves. I'm gonna rub them in my hair, and I'm gonna sit in the middle. I'm gonna tell Daisy to come with me, and I'm just gonna like gently step over the circle of mushrooms. I'm just gonna sit in the middle, close my eyes, and say like, "Hey, I'm back in the forest. Look, it's better now. We fixed it."
Like you like grabbing some leaves. Do you grab them off the trees or off the ground?
Off the ground.
Okay, yeah, you grab some leaves, you're like rubbing them in your hair, and you run over and you hop over into the circle. Daisy's quickly at your side, and you sit down. Before you even get a chance to say something, you disappear. The rest of the party, you see your goblin run over to this mushroom circle and then plop himself down in the middle of it and immediately just vanish. Like there's no sparkles or effects. He's just gone.
And it's just like, Knocker, wait, where are you?
Knocker, what are you? Now.
It's just like a pause. It's just like, of course.
Now for you, Knocker, you sit down in the middle of the circle, and immediately time just freezes to a halt. One of the leaves, there's like a butterfly that's going by that's frozen midair that you can spot over by one of the trees. One of the leaves coming off of a tree as it's falling freezes in the middle of the air. And your companions, who were standing just a short ways away from you, you can no longer see. Standing in front of you is your patron.
Oh.
And it
that
is
must be easy.
Like a tall, square gentleman with very clean, like a very square jaw, very clean, effeminate features, and has long, pointed ears that is very much like an elf, save for the fact that they're a bit longer, and a lot of the rest of his physiology is not as lanky or thin as elves are typically known to be. His skin is like... It shines in the sort of way that you would see the inside of an oyster shell. Like, it is that pearlescent rainbow color, almost, that it adorns his skin. And he wears these very ornate, long robes, almost like a house coat that you would imagine, that are colored in greens and golds. He smiles very playfully as he sees you sitting.
Well, hello there.
And hello to you, my little friend.
That was not the voice I was imagining.
Well, look around. Look at the forest. It's better. What do you think?
I saw. You did very good work, I have to say. I'm quite impressed.
And he strolls around the circle, gazing at the trees.
The source of corruption that had found its way into our forest has been dealt with. And it is something to abate the symptoms, but not the cause, as I'm sure you're aware.
Yes, aware. Yes. Well, we're working on other things, though not specifically forest related, but is there anything else you'd lead for me? Anything else you want me to do?
I like the road that you're on. I'm not going to lie, I've been enjoying watching you speak with death and move about with your other strange friends. It does amuse me.
He chuckles playfully.
I'm glad you're amused. I mean, you watch all you want. So we're gonna be going into the, scary, I don't really know. I wasn't paying too close attention to Scary Land. It's a scary place, land. I don't know. And we're gonna, put a, I think it's like a god or something in a egg. It's all very confusing.
Yes, you do seek the source of the corruption, it seems.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Source corruption, definitely. So, is there anything any advice you can give me? Any help? And, I don't really know what's going on most of the time. But if anything that you can think of that could
can help us, that'd be great.
And he playfully he pouts a little bit. He says,
Was the gifts I've given you so far so inadequate so quickly?
Oh no! The gifts are great. The gifts are fine. I guess more just information or advice. Is there anything we should?
Advice? Don't die, but I imagine that's a given.
Yeah. That was my main goal in all of this.
You just might be some of the best people to face against the madness. The insanity that you'll be going up against, facing off such a strange entity as the corruption that came to these woods. I think that your crazy might just be enough to help your friends.
He smiles playfully.
But I will give you one more gift. You have with you my pet Daisy. You also have with you the gifts that I've bestowed to you, the magic with which you cast. But just for a little bit of extra fun, how about this?
And he reaches into his sleeve and produces a small crystal orb, no larger than a golf ball.
Oh.
And inside this little crystal orb, there's a swirling silver mist. And he leans down and hands it to you.
I'll grab it.
As you snatch it, he smiles and giggles a bit.
Only in your most desperate moment, when things look the worst, drop it.
And with that, he boops you on the nose, and you find yourself in the same mushroom circle, but back in the woods. For the rest of you in the party, you watched Knocker vanish for about a half of a second. It was just like he was gone and then he's back.
I'll tuck the little orb into my pocket and I'll gently hop over the mushroom circle and toddle off back to the group.
I'd like to grab one of those mushrooms to snack on my way.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Sweet. Roll me Constitution.
Oh, here you again. You think you would have learned your lesson.
It's fine. Don't worry.
You'd think.
17. It's very delicious. And you could swear, as you're eating it, you could swear you saw a new color that you've never seen before.
Cool.
Tripping balls.
Very cool.
Yeah. And with that, my lovely people, I believe that is a good spot for us to wrap for the evening. Because we are just over 3 hours, and a little while ago, our lovely friend who was with us, Phoenix, had to go because she needed to get up for work in the morning, so she did quietly excuse herself. And we do wish her all the well, getting good snooze, and have a good day at work tomorrow.
Sleep well, friend.
All right. But yeah, so this has been a very good time. Let's get that Ragaful out here. We got Dark Souls 3 plus all the DLC down for Ragaful grabbing this eve. Let's see what people have gotten for this stuff. We got 1 ticket for Tonberry Queen, 2 tickets for Calendros. Piff for Prez in the chat. And be going on about this is why we eat mushrooms.
This is the 3 today?
Yeah, it's just 3 tickets. I'm going to give folks another 2 minutes if they want to get in on it. Please feel free and go ahead. Yeah. Calendro saying Piffles couldn't run the United States any worse than their current leader, the Grand Cheeto, as it were.
Well, very true.
Indeed.
In the meantime.
All right.
In
In the meantime, how's everybody doing so far? Everybody having a good time?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
excited to drop my.
Boy.
Drop the party ball. But yeah, this is a lot of fun so far, and I'm very much enjoying running this game for you guys. I understand, obviously, that a lot of the story is still centralized a great deal around Ophelia at present. It's just that this particular leg of the story I had written to attach to her character's backstory. More stuff as we continue playing along will become available and usable by everybody else.
That's all right.
Yeah,
we're integrating ourselves. It takes time.
This is entirely a thing that Doc is doing. It's not like I'm like, I want more for me. I'm just like, oh good. We had my thing and now we have more of my thing.
Yeah. This is a good time. All right. And with that, we are at 10:35. Okay, let's close those entries. All right, let's with the music and the forest noises. I gotta get more stuff for next time. Ooh. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, our Regaful winner. The person who gets to walk away this evening with a copy of one of my favorite games of all time, Dark Souls 3, with all of its DLC, ladies and gentlemen, our winner is... Calendros!
Yay, Cal!
Congratulations, Calendros! You've walked away with a copy of Dark Souls 3 plus all of its related and involved DLC! Congratulations! Yeah, I'm gonna write that down on the list. I'll get you that code after the stream at some point. I do apologize. Sometimes I'm a little late on getting those out, because sometimes I forget. But yeah, big thank you to everybody for coming out and watching this with us. It's a huge amount of fun running these games for you guys, so I'm really happy that people are having a lot of fun watching it so far. Thank you as well for all of your bits and donations and subscriptions that you guys have been giving us here. It really helps us keep the business running, and it's just so fantastic having everybody out here with us showing the support towards Evil Inc. And going down our lovely group of people, we have the sassiest of elves playing Ophelia, our Mind Flayer wizard.
I hope you all enjoyed the Seth shenanigans this evening, and now we have adopted an NPC. We're now a full adventuring party with our adopted NPC.
Yay!
Yay!
And we got a Cassie D20 Love Chu playing Siaces, our Banshee Bard.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. Hope you had fun, and hope everybody takes good care of themselves in the tough times we're all going through. Love you all.
Yeah, Lubs. And we got Badger playing our Goblin Warlock named Knocker.
Good night, everyone. It was fun. We're all having a good time.
And, of course, last but certainly not least, we've got Daisy Sunwing being played by Star.
Nighty-night.
And, of course, Katsiana, who is played by our good friend Phoenix, who is, at present, not here. But we wish her some speedy snoozes and a good day at work. And, of course, I have been, hopefully, your kind of benevolent DM, Dr. Terroir, this evening. And this is our Layer 4.0, and we will see you tomorrow on our next live stream. End of line.